Back at Iowa City, look at the old Capitol building. Maine government building here. The state of Iowa as Maine and Iowa get ready. Last year, Iowa near the bottom in rushing and scoring in the Big Ten. That could change very soon. Third man on our crew now joins us with more on that, J.B. Long.
Mike, amazing to think that not one Iowa running back had a carry for the Hawkeyes last season. For the most part, that's just youth. But in the case of Sean Green, the problem was in the classroom. After averaging 5.5 yards per carry in his first 2 seasons, Green spent 2007 at Kirkwood Community College. And without the benefit of a scholarship, he took a job at McGregor's Furniture Company, where on Saturdays during the fall, of course, they had the Hawkeyes on TV. Now, I spoke with Green before the game. No one is more excited to be back in good academic standing and back in the Iowa lineup. And of course, he said there'll be a few former coworkers at McGregor's looking forward to seeing him play today.
All right, thanks, JB. A lot of long lunches over there at McGregor's, I guess, with Sean Green on the field for the Iowa Hawkeyes today. As the Hawkeyes have won the toss and they have chosen to receive. There is Jack Cosgrove, former offensive coordinator for Kirk Ferentz at Maine. So for 3 years, and he's taken over ever since then. He has been the head coach in Maine, his 16th season, a record of 80 and 90. He's won a couple of Atlantic 10 championships, and had his Maine Bears playing very well over the last 6 seasons. They had gone 44 and 28 before last season's 4 and 7.
An interesting note with Coach Cosgrove, if he is able to win this football game today, would be his 81st all-time victory as the Maine coach. That would make him the winningest coach in Maine Black Bear history.
Well, Cosgrove against his former head coach. And we're set for the kickoff, 6 degrees and absolutely perfect sunshine. And the kickoff taken at the 8-yard line. Back to the 30-yard line, the return for Iowa, and that's where they'll start their first possession of the game. Let's take a look at today's Suzuki ATV's keys to the game.
And for the underdog coming into the game today, the Maine Black Bears, they're going to have to maintain their composure early in the contest. This is the biggest crowd they've played in front of since 2005. They got to get over those early jitters in the game. Controlling the tempo is going to be huge. They've got a spread offense. If they can control the tempo early in the contest, that's going to help them out going throughout. For Iowa, QB efficiency is going to be big for them.
Jake Christensen under center and on the handoff to Sean Green, and Green has a first down and a gain of 12, but he fumbled. And the whistle had blown, but a first run for Sean Green in over a year in Iowa. And it's a first down run of 13 yards.
And that's exactly what the Hawkeyes are looking for early and often throughout the game today for their big bruising tailback. It's nice to get a first down there on his first carry.
They averaged only 3.5 yards a carry last year, near the very bottom of the Big Ten. One of the reasons that Iowa ended up 6-6, they only scored 18.5 points a game. Now the fake reverse and a dive inside. Robert Admire's in on the tackle of Sean Green. Now for a look at our Rotel starting lineup. First for the Hawkeyes along the offensive line, and 3 of those starters played all 12 games last year. Raphael Eubanks, Seth Olson, Kyle Calloway, the right tackle, the backs and the receivers, and Sean Green, of course, the key man there. But the fullback, the coaches were raving about Brett Morris. He's been having a tremendous spring, and Kirk Ferentz couldn't be happier with his play at the fullback position. So Christensen in the shotgun and the give to Green. He stays on his feet, stumbles forward for a gain of about 4. And again, the middle linebacker, Robert Admire, the junior for Maine, made the stop. Look at the defensive line for the Black Bears. They average 6'2", only 244, so size is going to be an issue against the big front line of Iowa. And in the linebacker category, Mark Masterson is a guy that wears the famous number 4 for Maine. We'll tell you more about that. And in their secondary, a couple of seniors, a couple of juniors, so all upperclassmen. So Christensen now facing 3rd and 7. Iowa last year, very low percentage in this category, only 35% conversions, as they're right at midfield. Christensen drops back the pass and the throw complete for a first down. And a gain of about 8 yards.
Excellent protection. Excellent protection right there from the Hawkeyes. Sent Brandon Myers right over the middle. They were able to sneak the running back up through the inside there. Did a great job picking up the blitz. Brandon Myers right there with the catch over the middle of the field. Rumbles up and gets the first down for the Hawkeyes. Big 3rd down conversion right there.
Brandon McLaughlin made the stop, the strong safety. So Iowa on the move in their first possession just a couple of minutes in. And here at Kinnick Stadium, jam-packed, 70,000 fans plus on hand for the 31st consecutive time. Sean Green breaks another tackle, and he's up here. A first down.
That's what the Hawkeyes want to do. They're going to continue to run the football with their big tailback right here. The zone blocking scheme of the Hawkeyes, when you check it out right here, you see the entire offensive line moving in unison, and this young man just rumbling downfield here. Nearly 240 pounds coming downhill at you. He's going to keep moving forward until he maybe starts getting a little bit tired, but the coaches are going to try to wear him out early in this contest.
So Sean Green off to a great start. Iowa's ripped off 3 straight first downs, 42 yards total. Maine hasn't had the ball yet. They're inside the 30. Christensen on a hand. It's a reverse. Brodell has it down inside the 10 and inside the 5-yard line for Andy Brodell. Lionel Dixon made the stop to save 6.
That's exactly what you got to do. They've gotten a steady dose of the big tailback Green. Now you sneak Brodell. This is actually kind of called an Iowa State play. The Cyclones made it popular. Hawkeyes doing a great job executing right here, faking the tailback up the middle, getting the reverse around to the explosive Andy Brodell. Nearly had a touchdown there. Nice job by DJK trying to get a block from the 15, Daryl Johnson-Koulianos.
Brodell was limited to 4 games last year because of injury. Inside the 5, first and goal for Iowa. Christensen on the hand into Green, and he is stopped cold by the middle of that defense.
That's what defensive coordinator Rob Smith is going to have to do here a lot throughout the game. Speaking to him early in the week, he wants to keep his defensive line on the move, knowing that the Hawkeyes have a size advantage on them. A lot of these Maine defenders are in the 230, maybe even 240 range at the most. They've got to be able to sneak through those gaps. Did a nice job getting the crease right there to get the stop in the backfield.
Raybon Charles weighs only 237. He's a freshman defensive tackle, wears 92 for Maine. And Javon Belcher is only 228 at 6'2" on the defensive end. So Iowa gets to the line of scrimmage, and let's see, a timeout's been called. And we'll take it. 11:19 remaining in the first. Iowa on the march at Kinnick Stadium. Mike Crispino, Anthony Herron here at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, and the Hawkeyes in the opening drive, 66 yards. After taking the opening kickoff, 29 of those on the ground by Sean Green. They face a second and goal from the 3 as they move left to right. In motion, Brodell on the handoff inside of Green, and he's upended again by Javon Belcher.
That's the guy that Maine's going to have to rely on to make some big plays for him in the game today. The guard, Seth Olsen, did a nice job working up on the linebacker, but the offensive tackle didn't quite get down there to cut off Belcher. He was able to just kind of work his way into the backfield there and barely nip Sean Green's feet and stop him from getting in the end zone. But I think you're going to see him get the football here again on 3rd and goal.
Brett Morris, the fullback, checks in. He's 6'3", 240, the sophomore. Tight formation for Iowa on 3rd and goal. Christensen inside to Green. He leaps, he leans, and we're waiting for the signal. He might have been stopped just short.
Oh, they're calling him down.
They say his elbow hit. Brandon McLaughlin is on the stop, so 4th and goal.
It looked very close here on the second effort. Let's check it out. The fullback leading up on the linebacker. Way to run through the tackle there from the defender, but you may see the challenge flag come out from Kirk Ferentz. No challenge flag, they're going for it.
So 4th and goal from inside the 1. Brett Morris, the fullback. Sean Green inside, cuts left, and he's in. Lost his helmet, but has a touchdown. Sean Green, back after a year away. The junior put 6 on the board for the Hawkeyes.
Sean Green refused to be denied on that run like there. You gotta like the aggression on that touchdown carry. 4th and goal, they give it to the big tailback off left tackle, able to rumble his way into the end zone. Let's take a look at this play right here. You see him pulling around on the power O. Now he's 1 on 2 actually, heading into the end zone. His helmet pops off. Rumble, young man, rumble into the end zone for Sean Green. Nice aggressive ball carry.
Brandon McLaughlin tried to make the stop. Daniel Murray's point after is up and good. And Iowa off to a good start to open the 2008 season, and they lead 7-0 over Maine. Big Ten tonight, your ultimate source for all things Big Ten. It's the nightly show for highlights, analysis of all of today's actions, interviews, and so much more. Big Ten tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, only on the Big Ten Network. Well, a look at the Hawkeye faithful.
They're
What a
excited,
tough summer they have had. Flooding of the Iowa River, which devastated businesses, put people out of homes. Kirk Ferentz and his players and coaches traveling around to help out wherever they could. And it's just good to have the Hawkeye fans back inside this stadium.
And you know, folks all around the state have been looking forward to this season opening game after all the difficulties they've had throughout the summer with the tornadoes and the floods throughout the state of Iowa. Actually being in town for a couple of days where I got to go around to some of the local establishments. And, you know, it's a tough situation they were in, but they've been able to recover through a lot of community efforts.
So Iowa will kick off. Trevor Costin is back to receive, along with Jared Turcotte. He's up front of him. Here's the kick taken by Costin at the 10-yard line. Out to the 20, and he is wrestled down around the 25-yard line. So Iowa, with a 7-0 lead, will go on defense for the very first time. Let's check in with JB down on the sidelines.
Well, Mike, Green's weight was actually a concern for both teams coming in. Green says the rumors about him ballooning up around 300 pounds during that year off are not true. They had him work down to about 228 at the end of camp, but Maine defensive coordinator Rob Smith said even at that weight, we're going to have to be in great position to bring him down, and you saw in that last series, able to overpower a couple Black Bears.
All right, thanks, JB Long. Adam Farkas is the quarterback for Maine as they start in the shotgun, and they hand off underneath that time to Jamal Llewellyn. No, he kept it and he threw it upfield. A completed pass. Nice fake that time by Farkas, and he hits Michael Brusco,
catch right
who
there.
also plays quarterback and wide receiver.
And we spoke to the Maine offensive coaching staff just earlier this week, and they said you're going to see a lot of sets where both quarterbacks are on the field. This is actually the starting quarterback, Farkas, throwing downfield to Brusco, the backup quarterback. They really like Michael Brusco there. He's a playmaker for him at quarterback and other positions on the field.
So a little razzle-dazzle to begin with. And a 37-yard gain by Maine in their first play. Now they hand it to Llewellyn. He cuts inside, and he's taken down from behind by Adrian Claiborne, the sophomore defensive end. And Jacody Coleman helping as well, and that'll set up 2nd and 6.
You're going to see a lot of this from Maine today. They run that spread option type of offense a la West Virginia. The quarterback Farkas, Adam Farkas, he's going to be back there. A lot of misdirection, maybe handed off, perhaps rolling out of the pocket, getting the ball some of his playmakers.
2 wide receivers left as Farkas gets a change in the call from the sideline. Jack Cosgrove. Kevin Burgoyne is the offensive coordinator for Maine, so they'll try something else. Plenty of time on the play clock, and they hand to Llewellyn left, and he is just crushed by the right side. Adrian Claiborne was the first man there, and Matt Kroll as well helping out. Here's a look at the offensive line for Maine. They return 6 starters on their starting offensive unit. Their line average is 6'5", 288 in the backfield. A man to watch, Jamal Llewellyn from Lockport, New York. So Farkas facing 3rd and 6, 8:20 to go here in the first. 3 wide receivers split right, 2 left, an empty backfield as Farkas looks over the defense. 3 on the rush for Iowa, and Farkas is going to run. Up the middle he goes, and he's got a first down. He's stopped by Brent Greenwood, the free safety, but Maine with a little bit of a spread look, and they run it for a first down.
Excellent play call right there. Adam Farkas, not their more mobile of the 2 quarterbacks, but they put him in the shotgun when Iowa's in their dime look defensively with only 3 rushes. Everyone else drops back. Nice, easy first down run there for Maine.
Jack Cosgrove and the Black Bears are on the move. They're inside the 25-yard line of Iowa, going right to left in their road white. Farkas calling signals. 2 wide receivers right. The fake. Farkas moves right, looking downfield, has a man at the sideline, and it's complete. The 14-yard line to Landis Williams, but let's see. The officials say it's incomplete.
Out of bounds on that one. Let's see if he ends up getting these feet in bounds here. Nice play fake from Adam Farkas, rolling. Yeah, didn't quite get that foot in bounds. You know, in college, you only need 1 foot inbounds. He looked like he had both feet in the white there. It's a good call by the officials.
Sets up 2nd and 10. Farkas probably waited a little too long that time to deliver. The officials calling timeout here.
Are we going to have a review on this play?
We are going to have a review of this play. It's one of the items that you can review.
Yeah, and it looked a little bit questionable looking at it in live action, but I think after seeing the replay, I don't think they're going to end up overturning this call. Let's take a look at it right here. You see the play fake to Fluellen. Farkas rolling right, and as you said, Mike, he did wait just a little bit long. They had the receiver open on the sideline. He tried to get that left foot in bounds. Athletic play there, but I don't believe he quite got it down in time. You see the right foot tap down first, and then the left foot taps down. Almost had it in bounds, but I don't believe he quite made it there.
Well, the 3 major calls for replay you can get involved in is the TD or not, a catch or not, or a fumble or down. So here's one that, you know, obviously can impact a possession for Maine as they're on the drive, and they're going to take a look at it.
See Dave Whitvoet there. He's on the mic talking to the guys up here, the officiating crew upstairs, as they're reviewing the replay. Relationship there between Kevin Cosgrove and Kirk Ferentz. Kirk Ferentz was the head coach at Maine from 1990 to 92, and Cosgrove was actually the offensive coordinator on his staff at that time. They have kept in touch to some degree over the years. Interesting little matchup here between guys that have known each other for really a couple of decades now at this point.
And Kirk Ferentz was telling us yesterday when he got there, I believe he was the 4th coach in 5 years.
Yeah.
He stayed 3 years, went to the Cleveland Browns, and then since then, Jack Cosgrove's been there.
The play on the field is confirmed. Their pass was incomplete.
We're going to stay with the call.
They confirm the call on the field. And so Maine will have 2nd and 10. Now that was not a challenge by Maine. That was an official review by the on-field officials. So Maine goes back to work. 2nd and 10. They're on the 23-yard line of Iowa. 7-0 Hawkeyes. Motion from the right side. Farkas rolls right. Looks downfield. It's deflected in the air and intercepted. The Hawkeyes with an interception.
You saw A.J. Eads deflect the pass right there. Did a nice job getting his hands up in the passing lane as Farkas rolled out. Tipped it right up in the air. Iowa Hawkeyes able to come up with the interception.
Bradley Fletcher was the beneficiary of the deflection.
And you see little Jamal Fluellen actually getting out in the flat right there, but Farkas tried to go back over the middle. Dangerous pass. A.J. Eads, nice job getting his hands up. Hawkeyes come up with the interception. Big turnover right there because Maine did have a nice little drive going there. Now Iowa gets the ball back on offense.
So Maine, a turnover, had driven nearly the length of the field. And Iowa will take over on offense. Jake Christensen. Sean Green split behind him. Christensen throws to the left flat. It's complete. Paul Cheney Jr. and Cheney near a first down. Lionel Dixon on the coverage, the senior corner.
Good example there of some of the mechanics that Jake Christensen's been working on here. Coming off the play action fake, he did a nice job getting his feet and his shoulders squared back around, and as a lefty, turning back and throwing back to the right. That's not an easy thing to do right there. So the pass may look easy, but for him to get squared and deliver that ball on time, he did a nice job getting it to Cheney.
So Christensen off to a good start throwing the ball. Has been on target. High formation behind him. And the man in motion is Brodell. A handoff inside, and Green not much to work with that time. Jonathan Puricello along with Jordan Stevens on the left side of the Maine defensive line. Stop him after a gain of about 3.
Maine defensive front continuing to move around on that play. Talking to D coordinator Rob Smith of Maine, who actually worked at Iowa at one point back in the day when Kirk Ferentz first came in. He said they were going to have to move that front around. Going to see some looks from his defense, similar to what Norm Parker did, but they're a little bit more aggressive with the way they zone blitz.
Darrell Johnson-Koulianos is split out to the right. Single back, Sean Green behind Jake Christensen. Christensen on the ball fake, looking downfield. Fires it up in the air, and Johnson-Koulianos is unable to run under it. It's incomplete. And that will set up 3rd and 10.
And you see what Ken O'Keefe tried to do on this play. Went to his 2 tight end set, only sent 2 receivers out in the pass pattern. As many times as Sean Green has carried the ball today, he's hoping the Maine defense is going to bite up on that play fake, and one of these 2 receivers is going to be open. Actually, DJK had an opportunity. He did separate from the defender a little bit, but Jake Christensen wasn't quite able to get the ball to him on time.
2nd and 10 for Jake Christensen. He has Sean Green split behind him. Single back, hands to Green, has some room up the right side. Cuts up near the 40-yard line before Javon Belcher made the stop along with Robert Admire. Now for Nissans, what it takes to get there this week, we focus on Sean Green's journey.
2005 Iowa freshman had 116 yards in his first game against Ball State. First time he ever played in a football game, had over 100 yards. Very impressive effort from him there. 2006, he was a sophomore, had 32 carries and 1 touchdown. Then he had the academic issues, didn't play any football for the Hawkeyes last year, and now he's back on the field. Had to work hard with Chris Doyle, the Iowa strength coach, to get back in football shape, had to drop a few pounds, and now you see they're getting a steady dose of him out there on the field. He appears to be back in game shape.
Another first down for the Iowa offense. Nissan shift performance, bringing you that journey from Sean Green as he went to Kirkwood Community College here in Iowa. Here's Christensen back to pass, got some time. He throws it up though for grabs, and it's broken up. And a flag flies as Dominic Pisano was in on the coverage with Lemire Whetstone. And that one floated long from Christensen, was very much up for grabs, but Iowa looks like they're going to catch a break here.
Yeah, dangerous pass right there. Kind of floated the ball downfield a little bit, trying to hit his tall receiver, Andy Brodell. Actually ended up getting a late pass rush there. Javon Belcher able to beat the tight end.
Defense number 19, 15 yards from the previous spot.
So an interference penalty against Maine, and this is going to push Iowa deep into Black Bear territory with 5:25 left. Here's another look.
See Brodell looking to separate from the defender, but the ball just floated up there a little bit too long. Jake didn't get it out of his hands quite quick enough. Now you see Jake as he gets the ball downfield. Late pressure coming there from Belcher. That's the man that has to spend a lot of time in the Iowa backfield to throw that rhythm off in the passing game.
So the Hawkeyes will start at the 45-yard line of Maine. 1st and 10 here. 5.5 to go in the first. Christensen rolling to his left, looking downfield, and he has his man, Johnson Koulianos, and he's got a first down inside the 29-yard line
The Hawkeyes
before Brandon McLaughlin could bring him down.
Hawkeyes are really hoping for big things out of Daryl Johnson Koulianos this year, and you saw Jake Christensen there as he rolled, making a more decisive throw. A couple of his passes here in the first quarter floated on him a little bit, especially the last time he rolled out. Now here, hits the man in stride. Number 15 heading his way upfield, DJK. Nice throw and catch right there for the Hawkeyes.
Johnson Koulianos clan coming all the way from the Campbell, Ohio area in mass to support Darrell on this one. 30-yard line, first down. Christensen back, throws in the flat. This one is going to be short as Colin Sandeman was the intended receiver, and again there was pressure applied by Maine.
Somewhat of a delayed blitz there from Maine as Iowa went with the play action fake. The linebacker stepped up in there and bid on the fake. After he saw the tailback wasn't there with the football, he just decided to go ahead and take it and rush the QB. Did a nice job getting his hands up and throwing off that pass pattern there from Jake.
Robert Admire, the middle linebacker for Maine, put the pressure on. Their defensive coordinator, Rob Smith. Their defensive line coach, Dwayne Wilmot. They've had a good defensive squad over the years. Maine a 1AA. Now here is Christensen back. He loops it out in the left flat. Catch made. And on the run down the left sideline, Hockey O'Mara. And he is upended inside the 10. Jonathan Calderon made the stop.
You're going to see a steady dose of Hockey O'Mara in there also. The coaches have been happy with this walk-on tailback. He's going to fill in for Sean Green in some of these moments here. Send the corner blitz there from Maine. Good call, screen pass. Hockey O'Mara getting the ball in the open field. Not only gets the first down, but switches the ball, rumbles downfield inside the 10-yard line or right around the 10-yard line there. Now Iowa in striking distance for another score.
5'11" and 210, the sophomore, Hockey O'Mara. Comes from Cedar Rapids. Inside on the carry, inside the 5-yard line. Jonathan Calderon had to make the stop of Sean Green, or he would have had his second touchdown of the day.
Actually, Sean Green goes ahead and cuts this ball back against the grain. He looked like he had a hole there to the front side, the strong side of the formation, decided to cut it back. And even though there was a tackler there in position, it was kind of an arm tackle. He was able to elude that defender and work his way up inside the 5.
So Iowa on the march again after the interception deep in their own territory. They're inside the 5, 2nd down and goal to go. Christensen fakes, throws inside, and it's broken up on a nice play in the defensive secondary by Dominic Casano, the junior. He's from Wallingford, Connecticut, and he reached in and saved 6 that time as Brodell looked like he had an opening.
Excellent play here from Casano off the play action fake. Stays with Andy Brodell over the middle of the defense, gets in there just in time with the inside hand. Perfect technique to knock that ball away. Almost had a touchdown there for the Hawkeyes, but now they're sitting at 3rd and goal.
Last year in the red zone, Iowa 30 of 38, 23 touchdowns, and they've scored once today. Here they are, 3rd and goal from the 4. Christensen steps back, looks over the field, rolls to his left as a man open, and he's got him for a touchdown. Brandon Myers. So with time to throw, Christensen rolled to his left, found Brandon Myers, and it's 13-0 Iowa.
And you see Brandon Myers in the lineup here because Tony Moriarty is going to be out the first couple of games for the Hawkeyes. They're excited about Moriarty, think he's going to be a great player, but not a big drop-off there with Brandon Myers in the game for him. Nice route, gets the touchdown catch after Jake bought a little bit of time for himself.
And the extra point is up and good. Iowa. Trent Mossberger with the extra point, 14-0.
Here you see Jake moving the pocket, getting the ball to Myers. Touchdown, Iowa.
Hawkeye fans happy to be back in Kinnick Stadium this last couple of days of August. The new season 2008 underway, and Iowa leading 14-0. Jake Christensen already 2 touchdowns. He's led his team to 1 on the pass, 1 on the ground. We'd like to extend a special welcome to all our subscribers of MediaCom. Seeing the Big Ten Network for the first time this season. Happy to have you on board, and we know you'll be enjoying having the Big Ten Network on your lineup all year long. And that was big news here in Iowa today, Anthony.
Yes, it was. A lot of Hawkeye fans excited about that. Just got the news yesterday, and you should have seen the smiles on the people's faces on the streets when they heard that.
So Maine to receive the kickoff. They trail 14-0 here with 3:37 to go. Daniel Murray down inside the 15, and it's taken there, overwhelmed before he got to the 20 that time. There's Jonathan Calderon, and we'll be back. Maine with the ball trail. Along with former Iowa Hawkeye Anthony Herron, Mike Crispino with you, and a little adjustment to the helmets. Got to get them going after you knock heads for the first week of the season. Adam Farkas is the quarterback again in the shotgun formation for Maine as they go right to left. They had a good long drive deep in Iowa territory the last time. And the turnover led Iowa, kicked off a long drive for them. Adrian Claiborne just made that stop. The defensive line, and this is the strength inside.
And you see the big guys up there in the middle. They're going to be the ones that have to dominate the action. A.J. Eads leads that linebacking crew. Brent Greenwood, the senior, along with Harold Dalton, and the safeties in the middle on the secondary for Iowa. Derek Sessions in with Jamal Fluellen in the backfield, along with Farkas. A hand to Fluellen. He's got an opening. And a gain of about 7 yards before Jeremiah Hunter, the linebacker, came up to make the stop. Fluellen's a guy that had a lot of explosive plays for Maine last year. A lot of plays over 20 yards, over 30 yards, both running and receiving with the football.
Fluellen, a transfer from Syracuse, a senior co-captain, and now 3rd and 2 from the 30-yard line. 3 wideouts. And an I formation behind Farkas. Hands inside Fluellen up near the first down. Looks like he's got it. Jeremiah Hunter made the stop, but Maine will move the chains. We throw it back to our Chicago studios. Dave Repson with an Ohio State update.
Yeah, Mike, so the Hawkeyes looking pretty good against a lesser division opponent. So is Ohio State, and so is Beanie Wells. 43-yard touchdown run here. Buckeyes on top 13-0. Just got a field goal on a drive led by Terrell Pryor. Guys.
Thank you, Dave. Terrell Jones, Jeremy Kelly split out to the left. And one wide out, short side of the field. For Adam Farkas as Maine trails 14-0 under 1:50 to go in the first. Farkas steps up, throws deep, has a receiver, and there's contact down there. And there's going to be an interference call on Harold Dalton, who was on the coverage along with Amari Spivey, as Terrell Jones was the intended receiver. And that could be a big gainer for Maine. Let's see. Officials talking it over here. Black Bears have moved it down the field earlier, and we were right in scoring position, and this could put them back in that same area.
They were very successful on the first drive before they had the late turnover.
Ineligible downfield on the offense.
Oh, there's a penalty.
Offensive pass interference.
Offensive pass interference. Jack Cosgrove is beside himself.
The penalty for the offensive pass interference is accepted. 15 yards from
you
the
look at
previous
Coach
spot.
Kaz there. He cannot believe the call. Ended up getting some pass rush there from the defensive tackle. Matt Kroll able to beat the guard, get upfield. Got kind of a low hit on the quarterback there. That's why this ball ends up floating on Adam Farkas just a bit as the man is downfield.
Oh,
yeah, you see the receiver tackling the DB a little bit there. I think it's a good call there from the officials, even though Coach Kaz didn't like it.
Cosgrove, former 1AA Coach of the Year back in 2001. So it's 1st and 25. They've got Michael Bruschi will come in and play quarterback. He flips-flops between quarterback and wide receiver. And on 1st and 25, he's back in shotgun formation. He's going to try to carry it inside. He has some running room. Another flag flies, a gain of about 12 yards. A.J. Eads in on the stop. Another penalty in the Maine backfield.
It's looking like he's going to come back with a holding call on the Maine offensive line. Some nice penetration there from the Iowa defense.
Holding. Offense, number 55. Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down.
Looking to enhance your game day experience, presenting the Rotel Ultimate Tailgate Package Sweepstakes. You could win an incredible grand prize package featuring a grill, barbecue set, delicious Rotel products, and everything else you'll need to support your team, or other great weekly prizes. To enter, log on to Big10Network.com and fill out an entry form. Adam Farkas is back behind center on 1st and 34 as Maine's going backwards here at the end of the first quarter. Farkas on the inside handoff to Llewellyn, nowhere to go. Left side, Christian Ballard, the sophomore, able to wrestle him down after no gain.
Good job stringing that play out from the Iowa defense. Wanted to get the ball to Llewellyn at 1st and 34. I mean, what is the right play call in that situation? They ran the ball with their big playmaker, Llewellyn. Wasn't able to get much yardage off of it.
Last year, Maine only averaged 127 yards through the air. They've been putting it up quite a bit here in the first quarter against Iowa, and having some success. Landis Williams split out along with Terrell Jones, and Derek Session is in the backfield with Farkas. Throws out in the flattest Llewellyn, and he drops it. So an incomplete pass, and that's going to bring up 3rd and forever.
Farkas trying to set up the screen pass right there. The Iowa defense did a very nice job reacting to it. You saw the offensive line just let all the defenders go. As soon as you feel that penetration that feels a little bit too easy, you're taught as a defensive lineman to plant that foot, react and turn back, run downhill. You saw the linebackers flowing on that play. They were right in position to make the tackle. Derek
Session is split out along with 2 others to the left as Maine is getting a call change from the sideline. Landis Williams and Terrell Jones split as well. Jeremy Kelly a wide out as Maine faces 3rd and 33, but Farkas is going to pull it down and try to run, and he's going nowhere. The Hawkeyes all over it. Jacody Coleman, Matt Kroll. Kroll was 4th in tackles last year. In on the stop, and Iowa is smothering the Maine offense right now. final seconds here of the first. 8 seconds and ticking as that will be the final play of the first. So Jack Cosgrove and the Bears trailing 14-0 here on the Big Ten Network. Big first quarter by the Iowa Hawkeyes. A Brandon Myers touchdown catch, a Sean Green run. Maine in the shadow of their own goalposts with Cash Keeper about to punt to start the second quarter. Andrew Downey, the linebacker, will set the snap it. Will change there for Maine. Andy Brodell is back to receive the kick. It's a low one. Brodell has it at the 45-yard line. He's got some room. Brodell inside the 35, still on his feet inside the 30. And at the 28-yard line, Andy Brodell with a big return. Levi Urban makes the stop, and that's where the Hawkeyes will set up shop offensively. Down to the sidelines we go with J.B. Long and a special guest.
Well, Mike, as you know, this state was devastated by natural disaster earlier in the summer. And the University of Iowa wanted to offer 2 complimentary tickets to either victims of that storm or those who were able to lend a helping hand. And I'm joined by Jim Swafford, one of those fortunate enough to be in position above the floodwaters. And Jim, I know you were inspired by a very special community.
Well, the community was Oakville, Iowa. It was on national television. It's where the area that I basically grew up and lived there. And when we saw the devastation from the Cedar River and Cedar Rapids and the Iowa River here in Iowa City, we knew that we had a monumental project in front of us. The situation is that we had to hold the Iowa River at Oakville, or it could possibly flood all the way the 20-some miles to Burlington, Iowa. And thousands and thousands of people came and worked on all these projects from Columbus Junction all the way down, and we worked something like 10 days in Oakville without a single major history of any kind of accidents other than blisters and cuts and scrapes. And it was just very monumental. And the one thing that did happen, that when the river breached at Oakville, all of those people from all over the country, New York, Texas, Mississippi, Colorado, pulled together and went to the very next spot. From there, they went to the very next spot. And I'm proud to be a part of that. Thank you.
Well, he was nice enough to sandbag, to host his neighbors in his home, open his home up to storage, and with an attitude like that, no surprise, Jim was also able to beat cancer last year. Jim, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Mike?
All right, JB, and thanks so much. This area was, Anthony, as you know, you spent 4 years here. Many businesses put out of business for the time being with the flooding that went on. It's 3rd and 9 for Iowa. They're trying to recover, and they're in the process. But you can see signs of it all around Iowa City. Here's Christensen back to pass. Got time, throws down the middle, has a man intercepted. And into the end zone. Brandon McLaughlin stops that drive. McLaughlin was on the coverage of Paul Cheney Jr. and Christensen's pass was labeled right into the DB's hands.
And he really had time to throw. Actually threw the ball on time, but just underthrew the receiver. Paul Cheney Jr. wide open on that play. Just needs to float the ball a little bit more, kind of like he did earlier in the game. Bad decision there from Jake to try to get it on a line right there. A nice play from McLaughlin to come up with the interception.
Is that a case, as both have had turnovers now through the year, is that a case of the quarterback knowing when to throw it away because the coverage was so good?
Yeah, the coverage was right there. The defensive back was underneath. He had an opportunity to throw the ball over the top and put the ball on more of a touch pass as opposed to trying to throw it on the frozen rope like he did on that play.
Well, the officials marked the ball at the 3-yard line. They say that the interceptor did not go into the end zone. His momentum took him in there. And so Maine starts again deep in their own territory. Adam Farkas on the handoff. And once again, Jamal Fluellen with the carry. Broderick Binns is in. Where's number 91 for Iowa? Getting a chance here.
Redshirt freshman in the game for the Hawkeyes. They have a little bit of a rotation going now with their defensive front. Maine's going to want to keep the Hawkeyes off balance with this spread offense. Try to get the tempo in their favor.
Carl Krug is coming as well. He wears number 95. He's in the middle. As Matt Kroll gets a little bit of a blow as Farkas now changes the play at the line of scrimmage, spreads his wide receivers out a little bit wider. Landis Williams is almost at the sideline. And it's 2nd and 5. Williams in motion. Farkas drops back under pressure, and he is sacked. He threw it away, and a flag comes out. It was the defensive pressure from the right side by Iowa.
And you could have a possible safety coming up on this play. It looked like Farkas tried to elude the defender, couldn't quite get it away. If this is an intentional grounding, it'll be a safety for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Intentional grounding, number 7 offense. Penalty in the end zone results in a safety.
And it is 2 points thanks to A.J. Eads and the pressure he put on.
Big game so far for A.J. Eads. You see him blitzing off the edge here, able to chase the quarterback down from behind. Nice speed there from the Iowa linebacker. Farkas cannot elude him right here. And it's a nice feel in the pocket, but couldn't quite get him. A.J. Eads, big play for the Hawkeyes.
Dave, and here at Iowa City, the Hawkeyes have just gotten a safety from A.J. Eads off a blitz as he was able to bring down Adam Farkas in the end zone. Jack Cosgrove, whose team just got their first turnover a moment ago, and an interception of Jake Christensen's deep in Maine territory, gave up the safety. Now you got a kick from the 20.
That's how you see the Iowa defense work. Norm Parker's going to pick his spots to be very aggressive. You saw they had Maine backed up right there, wanted to bring the blitz. Excellent job by A.J. Eads. Now you got the free kick coming from Maine.
Cash Kiefer, the senior, to kick. And Brodell back, picks it up in his own 20. Good punt. Now Brodell up across the 40 is overwhelmed there by a bevy of Maine Black Bears. Yep. Andrew Downey was in on the tackle, among others, and now we are going to see Ricky Stanzi. As Kirk Ferentz told us yesterday, he's had a great spring. He wants to get a look at him running the team. Jake Christensen led them to 2 touchdowns, threw for 1. So Ricky Stanzi in, Paul Cheney Jr. is in, and the crowd's into it. As Darrell Johnson-Koulianos remains split out to the right. So Stanzi under center on a handoff inside, and a good gain, breaking a tackle. Aki O'Mara has a first down and a gain of 11.
Nice decision right there. You're putting the new quarterback in the game. The crowd's all excited. They want him to pass, but don't take it too far. Just let him hand the ball off. You've been excellent running the football all game.
That's the 10th first down for Iowa in the game. They ran for 75 yards on 13 carries in the first quarter, threw for 60. So an improvement there. Wide receivers split left and right. The single back is O'Mara. Stanzi rolls. He's in some trouble. Spins. He has a completion. O'Mara with a catch, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, and a gain of 6 for Paki O'Mara as Stanzi avoided the pressure, and Lionel Dixon made the stop. Now we send it down to the sidelines, and J.B. Long.
Offensive coordinator Ken O'Keefe told us that both guys, Christensen and Stanzi, played dead even during camp, and they hoped that by the end of today's ball game they would have an answer. Kirk Ferentz added that in a perfect world, one would settle in, but we have to do what it takes to win. And in Stanzi's case, he played so well during camp, they owed it to him to get him a chance in a game situation.
Here's O'Mara, and he is just crushed behind the line of scrimmage. Levi Irvin, the strong side linebacker, in on the play, and Eric Lee, defensive tackle, a junior, weighs 260. And Maine
Mike wasn't open.
has forced a 3rd and 3. So 3rd and short here.
And you see the big back, Sean Green, coming back on the field. I do like the way Paki O'Mara carries the football, though. Just over 200 pounds. He does run hard, but Iowa's bringing the big bruiser back in the backfield on 3rd and short.
Last year, Iowa 11th in the Big Ten in 3rd downs, less between 3 and 7 yards, just 35% completion or conversion average. And here they are on the shotgun. Stanziano inside handoff, and they're not going to get this one, as Sean Green is stopped after a gain of about 1.5 yards. Let's see, they're going to punt it. A 16-0 lead. The punter is being sent out for Iowa. Ryan Donahue.
A lot of old Hawkeyes down on the field. You see Chad Greenway of the Minnesota Vikings down there on the sidelines. Colin Cole of the Green Bay Packers is in the house.
So Donahue to kick it. He'll be standing at his own 45-yard line. Amir Whetstone is back for Maine. It's a high spiraling kick that's going to land at about the 15 and roll Iowa's way. Inside the 5 and down at the 4-yard line. So good kick. Where Johnson touched it up, and Maine will start deep in their own territory. Sun-drenched Saturday afternoon at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, and Maine starts again inside their 5-yard line. Adam Farkas, the quarterback. Jamal Flewellen on the carry, and Flewellen's going nowhere. A flag goes down. That was A.J. Eads, who again made the play. He's had a big day so far. Let's see what the penalty is.
Personal foul, face mask, number 59.
And that
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
This year, every time there's a face mask, it's going to be 15 yards, whether it's inadvertent or not.
Yeah, and I like that change to the rule because it's a difficult situation to put the referees in that gray area between calling a 5-yarder and a 15-yarder. As a defender, you're rarely going to do that on purpose, but just take that out of the official's hands. Make it be 15 every time. I like that.
So that gets Maine out of immediate trouble, and they're up near the 18-yard line. Ruski hands off. No, he'll keep it this time, and he's going nowhere as the Iowa defense has started to smother the running attack of Maine. Back to Chicago. Dave Repson has another update for us.
Okay, Mike, Coastal Carolina and Penn State. It was 14-7. Chanticleers had just scored a touchdown, but Derek Williams answers emphatically. An 89-yard kickoff return. They have just added a touchdown pass to Jordan Norwood. Extra point pending. 27-7 Nittany Lions.
Thank you, Dave. Penn State rolling early on the first day of their season. Last couple days of August. And we're here at Kinnick Stadium. Maine trailing 16-0. Off Flewellen, and not much going there. Gain of about 2. Stopped by Adrian Claiborne, and A.J. Eads. We've been mentioning his name an awful lot early on, Anthony Aaron.
All kinds of penetration on that play, and the group was led by A.J. Eads. I mean, this Maine offense, they're showing different looks to the Hawkeyes, but Iowa's doing a great job reacting to it defensively, penetrating when they need to penetrate, but then playing solid in the situations they need to be solid up front.
Anton Narinsky's in for Iowa at the defensive tackle. Where's number 59? And so in the shotgun, Farkas has got 3 wideouts right, 2 left on 3rd and 8. Now he's changing his call here. There's Derek Session, one of the 3 wideouts to the right, and they hand off to Flewellen. And he dives up near a first down. He may have it. Pat Angerer made the tackle. And it is a first down for Maine.
Possible missed opportunity there, but you don't like to call it missed opportunity when they get a first down. Nice downhill running here from Jamal Flewellen. Runs through the tackler, is able to get over the first down marker. Now you see him coming back with the quick look, but as they make these checks at the line of scrimmage, they should try to check the matchups they have here from Iowa because they get the linebackers out here covering some of these receivers out in the slot. They should take advantage of that when they get it.
It's the 4th first down for Maine in the ballgame, now the 5th rather. And not much doing up the middle that time. That'll bring up 2nd and long. This Tuesday, find out what it takes to be a football player in the Big Ten. Go behind the scenes with Coach Ron Zook and the Illini all season long on Illinois Football The Journey. It premieres this Tuesday, September 2nd at 9:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. So Maine facing 2nd and 8, 6:42 to go. In the second, they trail 16-0, and they're making changes from the sideline just about every play now as Farkas steps up. Jeremy Kelly split out wide. Landis Williams. And now it's Farkas rolling left, and he has a lot of pressure on him. as he throws it downfield, incomplete.
And that's one of the situations I was just touching on right there, where they had the matchup out wide with A.J. Eads trying to cover one of the receivers from Maine. Actually stayed stride for stride with the right receiver running up the sideline. Excellent football play right there from A.J. Eads.
And Adrian Claiborne came untouched, Anthony, from the right end. That's got to be a beautiful thing if
It's
you're playing over there.
a beautiful thing. You're right about that, Mike. And honestly, for me as a defender, I probably would have took that shot on the quarterback he had an opportunity at right there.
All right, they're 3 for 4 on third downs, Maine, and they have a 3rd and 8. Michael Brewski's in. He's a quarterback that plays wide receiver as well. He's split out left. Fake to Llewellyn. Farkas steps inside under pressure, throws upfield, has a man and dropped. Jeremy Kelly had a first down, and he just dropped it.
Those are plays you have to make when you're Maine. Adam Farkas does a great job buying himself a little bit of extra time. You saw Matt Kroll chasing him there. Jeremy Kelly had the ball in his hands, and he lets it hit the ground. That is a 3rd and long play right there. An opportunity for a first down, and that young man is beating himself up right now, but he'll get another opportunity to make a play.
That should have been a first down for Maine, and that would have kept the drive going. Instead, Cash Kiefer's in to punt the ball. He's standing on his own 15-yard line. Andy Brodell, who averaged 14.5 yards per return before being injured last year, has it. 35. Brodell still on his feet and up to the 46-yard line by Brodell. A 13-yard return. That's where Iowa will begin. Under 6 minutes to go in the second. Back at Kinnick Stadium, Iowa City. Mike Crispino along with Anthony Herron, the former Hawkeye. On the play with the Packers, the Lions, the Falcons. He's back home, standing high above. You haven't had this viewpoint ever, have you?
This is my first time getting to view a live game from this vantage point right here. It's not bad so far.
Good seats. Here's Iowa. A flag is down and a sweep left. Not much happening there. The tackle made by Brandon McLaughlin, the strong safety. Short carry from Sean Green, and let's see what the penalty is.
Offside, defense, number 45. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
That's the 4th penalty against Maine. Iowa's yet to be penalized.
It's really not what you want to do if you're Maine. You're actually still in this football game right now, 16-0. You don't need to get penalties, especially on first down, because now this is a waste down for Iowa at 1st and 5. It's a medium yardage type of situation.
Sean Green in the backfield, the single setback. Had 11 carries for 50 yards in his first quarter back with the Iowa Hawkeyes after a year away at Community College. And here's Green sweeping left, cuts inside, stays on his feet, and a first down for Sean Green.
Nice cut right there from the big tailback, Sean Green. You see that zone blocking scheme that Iowa loves. Kirk Ferentz was one of the pioneers of the zone blocking scheme. All the offensive line moving in one direction. Sean Green plants that foot, heads downhill, takes on the defender. No dance card here from Sean Green. He is just getting positive yardage downhill. Big fella's running well today.
And Mark Masterson made the tackle, number 4. There's a history there. The Maine Black Bears, their best linebackers, wear number 4. Masterson, a junior, and he's wearing it now. Again, Green setback, 7 yards behind the quarterback, Ricky Stanzi. He stands back, looks over the field, now rolls to his left, pulls it down. He's going to carry down the sideline, and he's got another first down for the Hawkeyes.
A little bit of presence in the pocket there from Ricky Stanzi. I like the decision. He got there, sat in the pocket for a moment, didn't like what he saw downfield, decided, you know what, let me just tuck the ball and run. And the defense had gone all the way to the wide side of the field, so maybe he's not the most nimble of foot quarterback that Iowa's ever seen, but he was able to get a first down out of it. Excellent decision there from Ricky Stanzi.
One thing about Stanzi, he stands 6'4". He's a tall guy, and he can see over the defense. He's just a sophomore from Mentor, Ohio. 12th first down for Iowa in the first half. Alan Reisner is split out now. Where's number 82? Stanzi back to pass, fires, and through the hands, right through the hands of Darrell Johnson-Culianos. That was right on target, but incomplete. Tonight on the Big Ten Network, Adam Weber and the Gophers look to start their season off right as they battle a tough Northern Illinois Huskies team tonight at 7 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. So Iowa faced with a 2nd and 10 as Koulianos was wide open that time and could not make the catch. Paul Cheney Jr. split out right with Koulianos now, and Brodell split left. Sean Green the single back behind Ricky Stanzi. Shotgun. Steps back, throws, complete. And the catch made by Brandon Myers. A gain of 6.5. Myers has had a good day. Mark Masterson in on the tackle.
A lot of versatility from the Iowa tight ends. You'll see them with the double tight end sets when they're ready to run the ball and run those power O's in the zone blocking schemes, but they've also got the ability to split these young men out. Started way back with Marv Cook. We saw him before the game being a Hall of Fame inductee here at Iowa. That legacy really continued with Dallas Clark, and now you see these young men really following in those same footsteps.
That was Brandon Myers' 3rd catch of the day. He has a touchdown earlier. Stanzi back to pass, throws it up, has an open man, but it's broken up. Good defensive play by Lemire Whetstone, the senior, from Trenton, New Jersey.
Would have liked to see Ricky Stanzi put the ball out in front of this receiver just a bit more and try to get it where the defender doesn't have an opportunity to make a play. Either throw it out of bounds or throw it where the receiver can catch the ball, but you don't want to come up short on those types of plays and possibly have another turnover. Nice play there from the Maine defense. Now we got a field goal opportunity coming up for the Hawkeyes.
Trent Mossbrucker is in to attempt the field goal from the 25-yard line, a 35-foot yarder from the left hash, and it is up, and let's see, it is good inside the right upright, and the Hawkeyes tack 3 more points on. They've opened up a 19-0 lead over Maine here in the 2nd. So Mossbrucker's field goal, and the Hawkeyes in command, 19-0. Daniel Murray's kickoff into the end zone, taken by Trevor Costner. He'll touch it back there, and that's where Maine will start from the 20-yard line with 3:39 to go here in the 2nd, trailing 16-0. And the sophomore quarterback from Boston, Adam Farkas, will be back for the Maine Black Bears. They had an early opportunity, but an interception scuttled that drive, and then a safety as Farkas was tackled in the end zone. So Maine goes to work at the 20-yard line, and the inside handoff to Jamal Fluellen.
And that's just a straight lead play right there from Maine. Didn't spread out the Iowa defense at all. Decided they wanted to slow this football game down a little bit and just run a straight lead at the linebacker. You saw Jared Turcotte just lead up on the Mike linebacker from Iowa, and Jamal Fluellen head downhill.
Now they go no huddle, and Farkas looks over the 4-3 defense of Iowa, and he's going to change the call at the line of scrimmage as the clock keeps ticking. He's got plenty of time on the play clock. And the roll out to the right by Farkas. He threw it low, though. Hurried the throw as he tried to go to Jared Turcotte.
And how would you like to be Ryan Canary right now, the center for the Maine Black Bears? On one snap, he's got to deal with Mitch King, and then if they move the offensive set the other direction and the strength is to the opposite side, then he's got to deal with Matt Kroll. Either way, he's got one of the best defensive tackles in the Big Ten lining up over him. He's going to have a long day.
Ryan Canary, number 55. How about Stephen Shea? He's 58. He's just a freshman. 6'4", 277. He's right in the middle of it as well, as these 3-year starters for Iowa put pressure on inside. Farkas under pressure, steps in, has a receiver, and it's off the hands of Terrell Jones, as Farkas was flushed out of there by the rush of Mitch King, who we spent some time with yesterday. He and Matt Kroll, of course, the 2 senior tackles that lead this defense on and off the field.
And wasn't that interesting getting to talk to those 2 guys together at the same time and see how their personalities mesh and some of the differences between them? These guys have been together their entire career so far.
They are certainly a sense of urgency. I asked them about that yesterday. They have gone 19-18 here in 3 years, certainly below Iowa standards. 11-13 in Big Ten play, and they want to have a huge senior season. And a lot of people think Iowa can have a big year. Players back from injury like Andy Brodell, who just fielded that punt. And Brodell inside the 45-yard line, and he's had a good day returning punts for Iowa. And this is our Liberty Mutual Alumni Spotlight. And guess who? Anthony Herron. He wore number 99 at Iowa. He's a big man. 1997 to 2000. A career of 172 tackles.
Wow,
10
check that tie
sacks.
out.
And a very thin tie and a very handsome man. And he looks the same today as if you're with us. If you were with us before the game, Anthony Herron was wearing a little wider tie, but he looks like the same guy as he's sitting here. Better tie, though, Anthony, I must admit.
Well, slightly.
And yesterday, as he walked around Iowa City, it was unbelievable. Autographs, kissing babies. You could have been a politician here. Maybe you should be.
I'm a young man yet, Mike. Don't count me out.
It's a long way. Lynn Swan can run for office. Why not you?
I like it.
Sean Green with the carry. He's had a big impact early on for Iowa. Levi Irvin made the stop that time as Iowa inside the 45-yard line here. Final 2:15 as Stanzi steps up, throws, and a dangerous pass and a catch. Well, he got away with that one as Darrell Johnson-Koulianos made the stop, but that was nearly intercepted by Dominic Cusano.
It really was, but a very nice catch there from Koulianos, making up for the earlier drop on the last series. I'm sure Ricky Stanzi said, hey, you owe me one after that one, and he certainly picked him up on that snap.
Good for a first down, and that was a dangerous throw by Stanzi. Now he throws up top, Brodell, and he just overthrew him in the end zone. Dominic Cusano was on the coverage. Coming up next, it's the Buffalo Wild Wings halftime show. Dave Revson, Howard Griffith, Sherry DiNardo give you up-to-the-minute scores and highlights and a look at the second half. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. We're under 2 minutes to go here in the first. Mike Crispino along with Anthony Herron. Iowa scoring through the air and on the ground. The return of Sean Green has helped them at the running back position, and now Ricky Stanzi is getting a chance to play some quarterback. Jake Christensen with a TD pass earlier. Here's Stanzi dropping back, sets up for a little screen left, but that was sniffed out by the Maine defense. And Jovan Belcher, their preseason Colonial Athletic Association Defensive of the Player of the Year candidate, made the play.
And that's a guy that's only been playing defensive line for 1 year now. Spent his whole career as a linebacker, and then last season, for the first time, they put his hand on the ground and let him rush the quarterback. Ended up leading the conference in sacks last season, and of course, the preseason Defensive Player of the Year in the CAA.
Belcher is down on one knee, might have been hurt on that play. He had 10 sacks last year. Let's go down to JB Long for more on Belcher.
Yeah, we weren't expecting Belcher to be intimidated by this crowd today. He played at 2005 at Nebraska at Memorial Stadium, started at linebacker as a true freshman in his collegiate debut, made 6 tackles, including 1 for a loss. So again, comfortable in the big environment. Mike?
Thank you, JB. And by the way, Maine has Florida State on the schedule next year. They beat Mississippi State a couple years ago, so this isn't your typical, 1AA team.
Yeah, I mean, they've been used to the big stage. This is not their first rodeo, if you want to put it that way. Maine came out here in front of what's over 70,000 people, yet another sellout here at Kinnick Stadium. They've been right here in this contest. If they could just be a little bit more efficient once they approach the red zone on offense, they'd be right in this football game.
Well, field position's been dominated by Iowa since midway in the first, and that's been part of the problem. Darrell Johnson-Koulianos, Paul Cheney Jr. spread out along with Andy Brodell. As Stanzi looks over a 3rd and 13 situation, steps up, has time, going to run, headed for the sideline, and he's going to be short of a first down. As he is brought down by Lionel Dixon, the left corner, the senior for Maine.
And Sean Green had an opportunity to make a block there for Ricky Stanzi that possibly could have picked up a first down for him, but did not quite make that block. Ended up deciding that he was going to, just go ahead and continue upfield, and Stanzi decided to run out of bounds. But there was a chance there to pick up the first.
Now they're going to try to kick it inside the 2-minute mark. The clock does stop when the runner went out of bounds, and Ryan Donahue's going to get a chance here. Let's see, Daniel Murray will do the kicking. Donahue will do the holding. And Andrew Schultz will make the snap, and let's see. Now there's a timeout called by Iowa. They'll think it over. 1:37 to go here in the second. Sophomore will get a chance here from 45 yards away. He was 7 of 10 last year as a freshman. Regina High School in Iowa City. The hold by Ryan Donahue. It's down. Here's the kick. It's plenty long enough, and it's good. And that could have been good from 55. Big Ten Network football is brought to you by Rotel, because you can't start your game day without Rotel's famous queso. By Hotels.com. Hotel reviews from people like you. Welcome to Hotels.com. And by High Performance Mycogen brand grain corn hybrids. Contact your Mycogen seeds dealer. A look at the Iowa Advanced Technology Laboratories across the Iowa River here in Iowa City.
That was actually one of the bridges that got flooded there that we were looking at. All the bridges on campus during the flood were actually overflowed with water. Turned out to be a horrible situation. The campus continues to recover in several areas. Even the Coralville Strip right off of campus. Went over there the other day, saw places like Sluggers, the Heartland Inn with Woody and Tim over there. Spoke to a lot of people that are still in that recovery process.
And that's where Kirk Ferentz would have you guys stay, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. The football team during training camp would stay over at the Heartland Inn and, get to eat at Mondo's and Wigan Pen and spots like that.
He didn't bring me to any of those places yesterday. I missed all those. Oh, Trevor Costin decided he's going to take it out of the end zone, and he's still on his feet, but he's overwhelmed inside the 15. And the tackle by Sean Prater of Iowa. The Big Ten Network looking for its most passionate fans with Big Ten super fans. The Big Ten Network wants to reward its loyal viewers with chances to win great prizes like tickets to a Big Ten game, autographed memorabilia, and much more. All you got to do, register now at BigTenNetwork.com. So Maine with a minute 27 left in the first, now trailing 22-0. Couple of touchdowns, couple of field goals by the Hawkeyes, and Adam Farkas takes over. It's at his own 15. They haven't had good field position for quite a while. And Jamal Fluellen, and a flag flies. There might have been a face mask in there. Harold Dalton with the stop.
And I think if you're Maine, you got to be aggressive in a situation like this. Not only did you get a big gain on first down, but now you're going to get a little yardage possibly coming off the penalty.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 2 on defense. 15 yards, first down.
And here's another look at it.
Sounds like they called it on Harold Dalton. Jamal Fluellen comes downhill here. Harold Dalton coming up from the safety position as he makes the tackle. Just ends up grabbing the man by the face mask and pulls him down. In the old game, that might have been a 5-yarder, but now that they've changed the rules, it's a 15-yarder every single time.
And that takes that decision out of the official's hands, whether it was inadvertent or he did it on purpose. Here's Fluellen, a nice cutback, open field. Still on his feet and up into Iowa territory at the 49-yard line with a minute 1 left in the half. Brent Greenwood, the free safety, finally made the stop.
That's what you're looking for if you're Maine. Another big gain right there. Now they're across midfield. About a minute on the clock right now. They're going to try to get in striking distance and hopefully come out with some points before the end of the half.
Terrell Jones, Landis Williams, Jared Turcotte are the wideouts to the left as Farkas is in some trouble. He's going to be sacked. Matt Kroll got to him.
Great pass rush game inside there from the Hawkeyes between their 2 senior defensive tackles, Mitch King and Matt Kroll. You saw them run what we would call a tech stunt, where both tackles twist inside. As the looper came around for Mitch King, the quarterback had to evade him, and then Matt Kroll came right in and finished off the play.
And a timeout's been called as Maine will face 2nd and 14. They're back in their own territory again. Let's take a look at the Advanced Auto Parts Road to the Championship standings. Obviously preseason, teams just getting underway. Ohio State leading today, and Big Ten preseason top 3 picks, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Illinois. But a lot of people think Penn State and Iowa are going to have big years. We'll find out. The Offensive Player of the Year, Beanie Wells, the running back from Ohio State, and James Laurinaitis out of Ohio State as well. And Anthony, Ohio State's trying to do something that hasn't been done in 113 years of Big Ten football.
3 in a row, huh?
Win 3 times outright.
3 outright
That's the
Big Ten
caveat.
titles in a row.
Think about
Yeah.
that. 113 years and no one's been able to win back to back to back.
That would be an impressive accomplishment for the Buckeyes, but it shows you the dominance that they've had.
Here's Maine, and out into the flat it goes to Llewellyn. He stays on his feet, and he's taken down. Let's see, he couldn't get out of bounds. Clock will keep running. Harold Dalton with the play.
And the great thing about watching the game from this vantage point, like we were talking about earlier, you see as Maine tried to set up the screen, the entire Iowa defensive line planted that foot like I spoke about earlier, took a great pursuit angle downfield.
And they'll throw it on the ground to stop the clock with 18 seconds remaining, and Maine will have a 4th and 10.
And you touched on a great note right there, Mike. The Iowa defense was able to tackle the ball carrier inbounds. The clock continued to run, and in the last 2 minutes, it would have stopped completely, both play and game clock. They were able to get him inbounds. No timeouts left here for Maine, so now they had to waste it down, and now it's 4th and 10 here for Maine.
And the play clock continues to run. The game clock won't start until they do put it in play. And let's see, they do get it off. Farkas back to step up, away from pressure, rolling out. And he will, let's see, close to a first down, and there's another penalty. That horse collar tackle, A.J. Eads. And that might keep Maine on the field with a chance here.
I think you're right, Mike. I think that's what we're going to see, the horse collar tackle. They're really emphasizing that rule this year. Dave Perry, the Big Ten officiating leader, he said,
Personal foul on the defense for an illegal horse collar on the tackle. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Yeah, I think another good change made by the officiating crews.
You see the pursuit from the Iowa defense right there coming up. And the reason that this is a horse collar tackle and a penalty is because he was not able to run with the ball carrier for a couple of steps before pulling him down to the ground. If he was able to maintain that for a couple of strides and then yank him back, there would have been no penalty. But they are emphasizing that rule this season.
Maine's got a chance here. 10 seconds to go. They have a timeout left, and they got a first down. Farkas throws. It's deflected up in the air, and it's incomplete as Landis Williams made a dive. He was covered by Amari Spivey, the sophomore from Middletown, Connecticut, with the Xavier High School there.
You see as the Iowa pass rush begins to get a little bit tired there. They're getting stuck on the line of scrimmage on the edges. Adrian Claiborne, although he was stuck on the line, stayed active enough to get his hand up and get the pass deflection there. Almost came with it, came up with the turnover for the Hawkeyes, but not quite. Now Maine with an opportunity, a big opportunity to put some points on the board here before the first half ends.
Ryan Harvey with a chance out of the hold of Michael Brewski here to kick a field goal from 40 yards out with 4 seconds left. The snap, the placement, and the kick is low, and it's going to go through. A line drive by Brian Harvey as the half ends puts Maine on the board. So Jack Cosgrove has to be pleased. He got something out of that last drive, 3 points, and his team trails 22-3. Let's check in with J.B. Long down on the sideline.
Well, head coach Kirk Ferentz, 125 yards on the ground in that first half. How nice was it to see Green go right down the field to start?
Yeah, I thought we came out and played pretty well offensively initially. Second period hasn't been so good. You know, 3 personal fouls defensively, and offensively we haven't done much.
Got both quarterbacks in the game. How would you evaluate their play, and what direction do you go in the second half?
Well, we'll play both of them in the second half too. Just keep watching. I think they're both doing some good things. Both have some things to clean up.
Back upstairs to Mike.
Thanks, JP. And Kirk Ferentz has his team in a 22-3 lead at the break. Stay tuned. Back in Chicago in the studios, Dave Repson and the crew will catch you up on what's going on around the Big Ten. Iowa Hawkeyes back on the field for the second half. They lead 22-3. The first half stats are brought to you by High Performance Mycogen brand grain corn hybrids. And Iowa with a big rushing number, 125 yards, 61 of those coming from Sean Green. They passed for 83 and overall 208 yards in the first half.
And this has been an impressive first half from Sean Green. I mean, this young man is an aggressive ball carrier, gets the football, makes that cut, and you're really looking for one cut and then getting downhill, and Sean Green has been great about that in this half. This zone blocking scheme works perfectly for his running style. Through tacklers, every defender bouncing off of this guy. Now you look at this defensive front from the Hawkeyes. Not a lot of sacks, not a lot of QB hits, but they've been under constant pressure, whether it's been Adam Farkas, whether it's been Michael Brusco back there in the backfield. The Hawkeye D-line has been putting all kinds of pressure and moving them around the pocket so they can't comfortably sit there. Had the sack for the safety at one point in the first half, and it turned out great. This defensive front has been all over the place for the Hawkeyes, especially led by A.J. Eads.
Adam Farkas was 2 for 10, only 41 yards in the first half. Let's go down to the sidelines and more from J.B. Long.
Well, guys, a lot of part of the success there was that rushing game, and a big part of that is Rob Bruggeman, a difference maker on this offensive line. As a walk-on battling for the starting spot in the spring of '07, he tore his ACL and MCL on the final day of no pads practice. But later that day, Kirk Ferentz let Bruggeman know he had earned a scholarship. Kirk told us yesterday he just thought he needed to hear some good news. And Rob was able to rehab that knee, played inspired in the final 3 games of last year, and today he made his first start as a Hawkeye. He's also serving as the offensive captain. Mike?
Now Bruggeman, a finance major. He's a senior. There's number 58, 6'3", 287. Kirk Ferentz in his 13th season as a head coach.
Yeah, and his record overall, 73-70. You see there, this is his 10th year at Iowa, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of ballyhoo, if I could put it that way, at the time when Kirk Ferentz first got the job. A lot of people wanted Stoops to come in and, wondered about other coaching possibilities. Kirk Ferentz, even with his Iowa history, wasn't quite as well known, but 2 Big Ten titles and 7 consecutive bowl-eligible seasons later, you'd have to say Kirk Ferentz has been getting the job done.
Well, you were here when Hayden Fry had coached 2 years of the Hawkeyes with you, and Fry, of course, 20 years. Had a run of 8 straight bowl games, and Ferentz got him to 6 straight bowl games after leaving Jack Cosgrove in Maine. Must have been a tough time because you have a legend in Hayden Fry stepping away, and who was going to replace him?
Right. There was quite a transitional period there. A legend like Hayden Fry, 20 years, the High Porch Picnic, just such a personality, a statewide personality, revitalized the entire Midwest region of this country through Iowa football. And then Kirk Ferentz took over a couple of rough years. I got to take some of the credit for those first 2 rough years, and then they've been off and running ever since.
From 2002 to 2004, they won 2 Big Ten titles, and he was the coach of the year, Ferentz. Big Ten titles the first since 1990, and the first time they had gone undefeated in the Big Ten since 1922. So Trevor Costin takes the second half kickoff inside his own 10, runs right to left, and he is snowed under at about the 14-yard line.
And for Maine to come out in the first series of this second half, they've really got to be able to establish something. More so just to have some confidence going through the rest of this game. I mean, it's 22-3 right now. If they can get a touchdown off this first drive and only be down by 12, now you've still got some life. But if Iowa's defense comes out with a 3-and-out, the momentum is still going to be in their favor.
His first couple possessions will be very important. Landis Williams is split out to the left, and Jamal Fluellen in the backfield. Farkas rolls to the right. Throws to the open man, Fluellen. He makes the catch and stays on his feet up near a first down at the 26-yard line of Maine. Bradley Fletcher, the senior, made the stop.
Those are the type of plays that get your quarterback back into a rhythm early in the half. Now they're going to go with the no huddle again. You see Farkas barking out the signals here, getting everyone lined up. This Iowa defense has reacted to it well so far in this game.
Farkas had a completion of 37 yards to Michael Brusco early in the first half, then completed only 1 other pass in the first for 4 yards. So the Maine offense just sputtered completely. And here on an inside carry, breaking a tackle, Fluellen still on his feet up near the 45, and finally down at the 47-yard line. Good run, A.J. Eads. And Christian Ballard finally brought him down.
Certainly getting the sense early in this second half that they want the ball in the hands of Jamal Fluellen. He has been their big play guy. He's their senior. He's their captain. If they're going to get back in this football game, Fluellen's going to have to be the guy that leads the charge for Maine.
Brent Greenwood missed the tackle, and Fluellen a big gain in the first half. Fluellen carrying the ball 12 times for 56 yards. Now Farkas back to throw in the flats and completed. First down. Landis Williams. And the coverage by Amari Spivey. And it's good for another first down.
Now that they've gotten him into a little bit of rhythm, gave him the easy rollout pass to the tailback on first down, and then came back with the carry inside. Now this Maine offense is off and running because they've had 3 consecutive successful plays in a row. Now the defense isn't sure what they're going to be able to do.
Gain of 12, first down inside Iowa territory, and this was part of the problem for Maine in the first half. They were buried in their own end for most of the first half. So Farkas looks over the defense, 1st and 10. A handoff near side. Llewellyn is crushed. Gain of about 1. Adrian Claiborne, the sophomore from St. Louis, with the stop.
One of those new starters at defensive end from the Hawkeyes. You had Kenny Awebama playing over there at the right defensive end last season. Claiborne stepping in, his first career start. They really feel great about both guys, Claiborne and Ballard, to be able to take over those defensive end positions and keep that line balanced.
Jeremy Kelly split to the short side of the field. 3 wideouts to the right. 2nd and 9, just a couple of minutes in here to the second half. Iowa leading 22-3 in their opener for 2008. Mike Crispino, Anthony Herron with you on the handoff. Llewellyn, and he is shackled behind the line of scrimmage. Mitch King made the stop, number 47, a gain of 1.
That's what you're going to see from Mitch King. He is more of a penetrator than what you would see from Matt Kroll, one of the top tackle for loss guys, one of the top defensive tackles as far as sacks in the entire Big Ten Conference. Getting the tackle on the line of scrimmage, maybe tackle for loss there. Now it sets up a 3rd and long for the Black Bears.
Landis Williams is split to the Jeremy Kelly to the short side of the field. Michael Brusco is behind. He's split wide right. He's a quarterback and a wide receiver. Here's Farkas. Throws. A nice catch, one-handed, but not much yardage as Brusco, the junior, brought down by Adrian Claiborne.
4th and long here coming up from Maine. Great pursuit from the Iowa defensive front. You see Adrian Claiborne began rushing the quarterback after he saw the quick pass come out of the quarterback's hand, able to plant that foot like I keep talking about and turn and hustle back downfield to come up and make the tackle. Now it's 4th and long. Maine's going to have to make a decision here.
So Maine will punt it. Cash Kiefer, number 17, he's a senior, transferred from West Virginia. And Colin Sandeman is back, or rather Brodell is back. Andy Brodell, he's going to let that one go. That's going to be over the back line of the end zone. And Iowa will have it at their own 20 when we return on the Big Ten Network. Dropped that time by Daryl Johnson-Coulianos, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And the folks here in Iowa City know him as DJK because it's one of the longer names in the Big Ten Conference. So they try to shorten it up and go with DJK. But new wide receivers coach Eric Campbell came in from Michigan this year. A point of emphasis from Coach Campbell has been we do not drop footballs anymore here at the University of Iowa. DJK struggled with that a little bit last season. Now you've seen 2 drops from him so far in this game.
Campbell with a great reputation at the University of Michigan over the last several seasons. Nice pass that time, caught by Brodell. That's his first reception of the afternoon, and a gain of 15. So Andy Brodell, Lionel Dixon on the coverage. Brodell made 13 catches last year in 4 games.
Nice throw right here in rhythm, takes his drop, got a clean pocket right there. Aggressive pass right on the numbers of Andy Brodell. That's what you want to see from Jay Christensen, getting the ball out of his hands on time, putting it on the guy's chest. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Nice decision, nice quick pass.
Christensen came out of high school in Illinois as number 2 in the nation as far as high school quarterbacks in the United States. And here he is looking left, has an open man. It's Julios. He escapes 1, 2, and is finally brought down. He dropped the ball, but it was on the ground, so a short gain of about 4. Jonas Russo made the stop for Maine. Let's check in on the sidelines with J.B. Long.
Yeah, you mentioned Eric Campbell, and when Lloyd Carr retired, it really created an opportunity for the Hawkeyes to add one of the top receivers coaches in the country. Campbell produced a 1,000-yard receiver in an unprecedented 8 consecutive seasons at Michigan. Daryl Johnson-Koulianos told me before the game he's really a blessing, and he agreed that everything he says seems to make more sense than I've ever heard from a coaching standpoint. And that's a good sign considering Campbell worked with 10 NFL draft picks at Michigan, and given Koulianos' upside, he may just be next. Mike?
All right, JB. Inside carry, close to a first down, but it's going to be well short. Jonas Russo made the stop. Back to our Chicago studios, Dave Repson, a big story at Ohio State.
Not the kind of story Ohio State fans want either, Mike. Beanie Wells, as Ohio State was knocking on the door against Youngstown State, fumbles the ball. He came up clutching his foot, had to be helped off the field, was not able to put any pressure on it. We'll update you as soon as we know more on the Buckeyes Heisman Trophy candidate.
All right, thank you, Dave. So Ohio State in command of the game, but maybe without one of their outstanding players. Pass caught by Colin Sandeman, and Sandeman adds yardage down near the 30 of Maine. So that slant pass for Iowa connected a couple of times here in the second half by Jake Christensen.
I really like what I'm seeing from Jake the Snake here early in this second half. The guy's being definitive with his decisions in the pocket. You see him again, nice play action fake in the pocket, gets the ball out of his hands on time, right there on a rope, hits the guy between the numbers, and these are the types of passes that Iowa wants to see from him. Somewhat safe, but very aggressive.
25-yard gain by Sandeman, and it's first down at the 31. Now Christensen looking around, fires in the flat as the open man, Brandon Myers, cuts inside. Myers still on his feet and inside the 15-yard line before Mark Masterson made the play.
And when I make that comparison about being safe and aggressive at the same time, it's safe with the decision, but aggressive with the throw. He's not kind of pitter-pattering the ball in there. If he's got a man open between a couple of defenders, he's getting the ball right to him on time, making a quick decision and getting the football out of his hands. You like that from your quarterback if you're Iowa.
16-yard gain, so as Iowa did it to start the first half on the ground, they're doing it through the air to start the second. Christensen a first down inside the 15. Now looks to his right, and a little mix-up in the pattern that time it looked like, as Koulianos stayed inside and Christensen threw outside.
Little miscommunication there from the Hawkeyes, but still in a good situation right now. 2nd and 10, you got the ball inside the 15-yard line. No turnover right there, so they're still in good position.
Mike Crispino, Anthony Herron here at Kinnick Stadium. When we started the afternoon, Anthony, we talked a lot about Maine putting pressure on. They're among the top 15 schools in the country the last 2 years in sacks. They haven't had one, and they really hadn't put pressure on Iowa's QBs yet.
Yeah, the only guy that's had any heat so far is Devon Belcher's gotten in the backfield a couple of times, but nothing consistent.
Belcher has been in on 8 tackles, but has not had a sack yet. Sean Green is stopped after a short gain.
You see one of the adjustments that Iowa's made is for really most of this entire drive, they've gone with having both tight ends on the field at the same time. Brandon Myers, Alan Reisner have been there in pass protection throughout a lot of this drive so far. It's balanced up their protection and allowed Jake Christensen to be able to sit in the pocket comfortably without having to worry about defenders around his feet.
3rd and 10, key possession here. As last year they were 10th in 3rd and +8 conversions. And Christensen this time escapes, but he will not escape as he is finally sacked in the backfield. The play made by Colin Sandeman was the intended receiver. Lionel Nixon was in on the play, and that will foil the Iowa offense.
Maine defensive coordinator Rob Smith decides to come with the blitz from the safety here. Number 29 gets in the backfield, not able to bring the quarterback down, but you see number 22 able to continue and stay aggressive in that play. The left corner comes in, makes the tackle. Now Iowa has to go for the field goal here. Aggressive call from Maine.
So the senior Lionel Nixon in, and the field goal attempt is up, and Trent Musbrucker has connected again. His 3rd field goal of the afternoon, and will return Iowa 25-3. Kinnick Stadium. Hawkeye fans happy. The third field goal of the day by the Hawkeyes. 2 by Trent Mossbrucker, 1 by Daniel Murray. Mossbrucker from 35 and 33, and they lead 25-3. And here's the kick. Trevor Costin has it at the 7-yard line for the Black Bears. Costin still on his feet and up past the 25, and he's snowed under there by the coverage unit of the Hawkeyes. Let's revisit today's Suzuki's ATV's keys of the game.
And for Maine, I do think they were able to come out early in the contest and maintain their composure. Controlling the tempo is where they really didn't get the job done. They got in the red zone once or twice, didn't really convert on a couple of those opportunities. QB efficiency for Iowa, aside from the 1 turnover from Jake, they've been good with that, and they have been dominant in the defensive front.
So Adam Farkas has had limited success. Stays at quarterback. The man in motion, Jared Turcotte. Now he remains on the left side of the offensive line. Llewellyn carrying on a sweep right and nowhere. No gain whatsoever.
That defensive front from Iowa continuing to swarm to the football. You see a lot of black shirts around the ball carrier when Maine's really ready to hand it off to Jamal Llewellyn. All the defenders swarming towards him and trying to gang tackle and get him down quickly.
Adrian Claiborne was in on 4 tackles in the first half, 3 more here in the second, so he's been all over the place, along with A.J. Eads, who was in on 6 tackles in the first half. And Iowa's defense, which was their strength last year, they were 12th in the country, holding teams under 19 points a game. Their offense just couldn't produce for them. And what's kept them as 500 team. A nice play in the flat by Adrian Claiborne again as Jamal Llewellyn looked like he might have some room there to roam, but Claiborne put a stop to that quickly.
I like the way Big 94 is flying around this field there. As a defensive lineman, you really need to be able to do both things, rush the quarterback and play the run, but not just those assignments. Also, you need to be able to hustle around and help out in situations like that where maybe your linebackers aren't able to make the tackle. Great hustle from Claiborne.
Claiborne, one of 34 lettermen on the roster who were freshmen last year, so a lot of young players got a chance. For the Hawkeyes, they have 7 3-year starters, 11 2-year starters. So this is a team that has got some youth in it. As the empty backfield, Farkas didn't like what he saw, and he had to call a timeout as the play clock was about to expire. So Maine will talk it over. 5:13 remaining in the third, and will return to Kinnick Stadium. The Hawkeyes 25-3 over Maine. Along with Anthony Herron, Mike Crispino at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City on an absolutely perfect day in the end of August. The opener for Iowa. That is Adam Farkas, the quarterback for Maine. They've been stymied by Iowa's defense. Just 3 points on the board. Here in the third, they face 3rd and 13. And Llewellyn in motion now stands to the left of Farkas. He's going to try to run up the middle, and he is dragged down after a short gain. Jeremiah Hunter, the weak side linebacker, the sophomore, made the stop after a gain of 2.
First year as a starter for Jeremiah Hunter, coming out here in the opening game. Not getting to make a nice little play there on 3rd and long. Tried to run the QB draw from Maine, but Hunter was right in position to make the tackle. Now Iowa's going to get the ball back offensively and try to establish some dominance in this football game. See if they can extend the gap here. They're starting to open between them and the Black Bears.
Cash Keefer is the punter. He's standing inside his 15-yard line. Andy Brodell down to the Iowa 30. It's been good to see him back for Iowa fans. Good punt returner. He's up to make the catch at the 35. A couple of moves, and Brodell up near the 50, a 15-yard return. So the punt return by Brodell, and he's stopped by Michael Brusco, who does just a little bit of everything for Maine. And that's where Iowa will start at midfield. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and the descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference. So Iowa with Jake Christensen playing quarterback at the 50-yard line. Midfield. Brett Morris the fullback, and a fumble. Ball dropped right around midfield, and the Hawkeyes recover it. Rob Brueggemann, who J.B. Long was telling us about, Senior made a recovery, so sometimes the linemen, Anthony, they get their hands on the ball.
Well, lucky for Iowa, Brueggemann didn't try to get up and run with the football. He just collected the fumble. Now they're heading back into the huddle, but I know Kirk Ferentz hates to see that because you wasted it down now. Now you're sitting here at 2nd and long, not in a good position, but you're still at midfield.
I formation behind Christensen. Wideouts on each side. Sean Green has an opening. Green nearly broke it as he is ankle tackled at the 30-yard line. Lionel Dixon saved a touchdown.
It's talking to Maine defensive coordinator Rob Smith during the week. He said he was a little bit worried about whether or not that big offensive line from Iowa would be able to continue leaning on his defensive line and perhaps wear them out throughout the game. You see again the big tailback from Iowa, Sean Green, being able to make that cut in his own blocking scheme, get upfield, and now those 7 and 8 and 10-yard gains on that run turns into a 15 to 20-yard game.
Green, who gained 173 yards as a freshman, scored once, then 205 as a sophomore, scored again, is having a big afternoon here. He's taken down one leg, the tackle.
Maine's defense, if they can come up big here in this situation and hold Iowa to another field goal, they're still putting themselves in position to be able to work their way back into the contest. But now getting late in the 3rd quarter, holding them to field goals isn't going to quite be enough. They need to start coming up with stops defensively.
Ryan McCrossan, the sophomore from Sparta, New Jersey, made that tackle. He's gotten some time here in the 2nd half. So Jake Christensen with 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard gain by Sean Green. He audibles at the line of scrimmage. Andy Brodell was split out to the left. Green hit hard, spins out of the tackle, and he's up near a 1st down. Good second effort by Sean Green. And Ryan McCrossan made the stop again.
Quintessential Kirk Ferentz and Ken O'Keefe football right here. Continue to pound your ball carrier at this defense. This is where these carries are wearing down not only their defenders up front, but the secondary that has to come up and try to make these tackles. Guys are going to get tired of trying to tackle this big 235, 240-pound tailback for Iowa.
Brandon Myers, Alan Reisner are in, double tight ends, and let's see, they're stopped short. Mark Masterson was in. He was the first man there, so this is going to bring up 4th and 1, and let's see, I think Iowa's going to go for it this time. They've kicked 3 field goals, but Kirk Ferentz wants to find out if his team can gain a half a yard against Maine.
And you see him bring another tight end on the field, number 97, Ross Peterson. They're going to try to hammer this ball at Maine on 4th and short and see if they can come up with this 1st down.
Brent Morris, the fullback, in front of Sean Green. Green easily for the 1st down, pushing ahead. He's got a gain of 6 inside the 15. Lemire Whetstone made the stop, the free safety.
Nice trap play there. See the guard pulling around there. Sean Green just moving the pile. They brought in the new tight end there, Ross Peterson. He was excitable getting his first play in there. Got a pancake block with Sean Green running right up behind him. 1st down Iowa inside the 15-yard line.
So Iowa presses on here with 1:10 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 2 wide receivers split right. Andy Brodell split left. Paul Cheney Jr. on the right, and here's Sean Green, breaks a tackle inside the 10 and taken down at the 6-yard line. Lemire Whetstone prevented. Another Iowa touchdown.
As you see Paki O'Mara coming into the game, they have gotten a steady dose of Sean Green just running and hammering away at this Maine defense. I would imagine that guy's got to be tired right now in his 1st game back after a layoff from a year, getting a nice little hand from the crowd from the way he's been able to physically dominate this football game against Maine. Now O'Mara's in the backfield, and we'll see what Iowa does here near the 5-yard line.
Little change of pace, 22 carries, over 100 yards now for Green. Here's O'Mara inside, near the end zone, taken down at the 1-yard line. Brandon McLaughlin stopped him.
Going to be goal to go here for the Hawkeyes. 2nd down coming up. They're going to keep O'Mara in the game, not bring the big bruiser back in, but they are going back to that 3 tight end set. So now they've got 97 Ross Peterson back on the field. They're going to hammer this ball away at Maine and try to see if they can get it in the end zone.
Hawkeyes have been moving down the field steadily after the good punt return by Andy Brodell. Tight formation, Peterson in motion, and the hand inside to O'Mara, and he is not going to get there. As Maine's Jonathan Puricello made the play, along with Raybon Charles. And that will bring the third quarter to an end. Iowa on opening day, a 25-3 lead over Maine. Happy to be playing the air guitar at Kinnick Stadium this afternoon as the Hawkeyes lead 25-3. They're on a 49-yard drive, all on the ground, 9 carries. Packy O'Mara behind Brett Morris from the 1, and he's in easily. Wide open. You could drive a truck through that one. 31-3 Iowa.
That looked nice and easy right there for the Hawkeyes, and now that their big guys up front are starting to lean on that defensive line from Maine over and over again, the dominance in the running game for the Hawkeyes being established here in the fourth quarter.
Well, Daniel Murray will be on for the extra point. Packy O'Mara gets into the end zone, a 1-yard touchdown run. Always good to find pay dirt.
Always good to find pay dirt, and you see that tradition that the Hawkeyes have had of some of the great walk-ons over the years. That continues with a kid like Packy O'Mara getting his opportunity here today.
So Murray for the extra point. The placement's good, and the kick is up, and that is good. So Iowa 32, Maine 3, just underway in the fourth quarter. Kirk Ferentz coaching against his former team, the Maine Bears. He coached them 1990 to 92. J.B. Long's got more on that.
Well, actually, Kirk Ferentz was the first coach to take the Black Bears up against a bowl subdivision team back in 1990 when they took a trip to Hawaii. He was also in charge of making the travel arrangements, and the way Jack Cosgrove tells the story, they showed up to collect the bag lunches at about 5 a.m. on the morning of the trip, and Kirk Ferentz realized he forgot to book the buses. So what they had to do was collect a caravan of yellow school buses. They got all the players on board, and that was the start of a long 18-hour trip. And Cosgrove still says that was one of the greatest lessons that Ferentz ever told him. Don't forget the buses. Mike?
That's good advice from the coach. And Jack Cosgrove's been at Maine ever since Kirk Ferentz left, 16 years. And he's had some success. Won 2 Atlantic 10 titles. Beat Mississippi State a couple years ago. And in 2001, a 1AA Coach of the Year for Jack Cosgrove.
Coached in more games for the Black Bears than any other coach in their history. This guy has been a staple for that program.
Norman Smith is back to take the kickoff from Daniel Murray as we're just underway here in the fourth quarter. And Murray's kick is high and headed to the end zone. It'll be touched back there, and that's where Maine will begin from their own 20. Join host Mike Hall. He and his crew take you around the conference each week with a fun, unique look at every campus. Join them next week in Champaign on Big Ten Friday Night Tailgate, 8:30 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network. That's a great show, by the way. I think an appearance by Anthony Herron would be in order for that show.
We'll see if we can get that worked out between my campaign that I have coming up.
Call Mike Hall, see if you can get on the bus over there to Champaign. Jamal Llewellyn's in the backfield as Farkas' throw is up in the air, and it's intercepted, deflected, and Pat Angerer was right there for it. And just like that, Iowa's got another chance to add points.
Yet another deflected pass by the Hawkeye defensive front as the ball's batted up in the air. Waiting right there for it is Pat Angerer. Nice play from the young man right there, getting his hands on the football. Didn't try to do too much with it. Let me get on the ground and allow my offense to come back here on the field. Nice decision. Now the Hawkeyes have an opportunity to really possibly put this game away if they can get a touchdown on this drive here.
Adrian Claiborne got his hand up in the face of Farkas, and then the interception was made. So from the 20, and a lot of room there. Breaking tackles and headed to the corner of the end zone. Jewel Hampton.
They've got the freshman on the field right here. Jewel Hampton, the Iowa running back. First carry of his career, goes all the way for a touchdown.
The freshman from Indianapolis takes his first carry as a Hawkeye and gets into the end zone. 38-3 and counting, as Daniel Murray will attempt the point after. It's placed down, and Murray is added to the total. Iowa 39-3.
How about that? This kid is a true freshman. His first carry of his career, gets the football, makes the read off of the fullback, bounces outside, and like that, this young man is gone. Touchdown, Iowa.
It's all Iowa early in the fourth. They lead 39-3 over Maine out of the Colonial Athletic Association newly formed conference this year for Maine. 5 of the teams went to the 16-team championship playoffs last year, so they're going to have a good lead. But right now they're being overmatched by Iowa. 39-3. Here's the kickoff. This one carries into the end zone, and it will be touchdown there. And just a moment ago, Jewel Hampton, a freshman from Indianapolis, got his first chance as a Hawkeye running the ball.
And as a lineman, I love seeing great blocking up front. You watch Brett Morris right here, the fullback. He's going to lead him right up in this hole between the guard and tackle and the B gap. Nice reach block there from the guard. Now Morris leading him upfield. Gets a nice lead block there on the linebacker. Hampton, as he goes upfield, this is where touchdowns happen. When you see the receiver right there, Daryl Johnson-Koulianis getting the block on the defensive back. Now it's all Jewel Hampton from that point on, getting into the end zone. Rumble, young man rumble into the paint.
And so Iowa has started to go to the bench, play some of their freshmen. Here's Llewellyn with a nice cutback run and a gain of 12 and a first down. Let's go back to our Chicago studios now, where Dave Repson's standing by for another update from Ohio State.
Now this one a little more encouraging for Buckeyes fans after we saw Beanie Wells get hurt before. Terrell Pryor, the freshman phenom, working out of the pistol. How about this? The 18-yard touchdown run, first of his career. It's 40-0 Buckeyes.
All right, thank you, Dave. Here, Iowa in control, leading 39-3. A.J. Eads in on the stop of the ball carrier, Llewellyn, who's been the main offensive weapon for the Black Bears, a gain of 7.
A.J. Eads, the linebacker, having a big day today. He plays that Sam linebacker position for the Hawkeyes. Well, you see him more often than not positioned outside the tight end to be able to set the edge for the defense.
Jeremy Kelly, the sophomore, split to the short side of the field for Maine. As the Black Bears have a 2nd and 3. Marcus and a nice fake, now roll in trouble, but he gets the pass off, and Jeremy Kelly made the catch as he ran a crossing pattern right to left, and he has a first down near the 50-yard line, a gain of 9.
And Hawkeye defensive end Adrian Claiborne again stayed active on that play. Not only covered the running back for just a moment, but then was able to go into the backfield, and this time he got a hit on the quarterback. He laid off of him earlier in the game. Now he hit him that time, and I like that aggression from a young defensive end.
No huddle now for Maine as they try to get something going offensively. Andis Williams and Terrell Jones split right on the wide side of the field. Marcus on a fake handoff. Now he drops back and he throws downfield. He's got a man open. And a deflection. Nice play defensively in the secondary to break that up. Harold Dalton was in on it.
Very nice play action fake here from Adam Farkas. The linebackers bite up on it, and now this allows his receiver to get some separation between himself and the defensive back, but then at the very last moment, the Iowa defender comes in to knock the ball away. Nice deflection there from Sash.
Tyler Sash, I want to correct that, number 9, the freshman, in from Oskaloosa, Iowa, so he's getting a chance to play here in the 4th quarter. On a sweep right for cutting back against the grain. And the tackle made by a number of Hawkeyes. Jeremiah Hunter in on it to start. That'll bring up 3rd and 7. So Maine's going to stay in the no huddle with under 13 minutes to go here. Iowa getting some other players into the game.
A lot of their younger players, a few true freshmen, are starting to see some action now in the contest for the Hawkeyes.
David Cato wears number 31. He's a freshman from Arlington, Texas. Cato in the secondary. So the single receiver split right is Jeremy Kelly on 3rd and 7. Marcus back, looks on the slant pattern, has a man. Very short gain. And a catch by Derek Session. Big Ten Tonight, your ultimate source for all things Big Ten. It's a nightly show for highlights, analysis of all of today's action, interviews, and so much more. Big Ten Tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, only on the Big Ten Network. Andy Brodell is back as Maine will have to punt. 4th and 4. Kind of curious, Anthony, where they're down 39-3 and they're in Iowa territory. They're going to punt it.
Yeah. I understand what you're going for there. I mean, the decision here by Jack Cosgrove just wants to get the ball back in the hands of the Iowa offense, allow his defense an opportunity to maybe pin him in.
And Brodell lets it go, and it ends up bouncing into the end zone. So Iowa will start from their own 20, 11.5 to go. They lead it 39-3. When we talked with Kirk Ferentz yesterday, he said that both quarterbacks will get snaps in this one, and Jake Christian's had a good afternoon, 9 of 15. He's had a touchdown pass. Now Ricky Stanzi gets his second opportunity here in the 4th quarter. Now Stanzi rolls to his right, and he hits the open man for a first down. It's Paul Chaney Jr., a gain of 11.
Excellent job carrying out the play action fake there from Ricky Stanzi. I like the way this young man, he's got some presence there on the football field, as though he's been out there before, even though he's only had a couple of snaps in his career. Right there was a great example of him carrying out the play action, allowing the defense to flow, realizing that he has time to go ahead on the bootleg and hit Chaney Jr. out in the other flat.
Stanzi threw 4 passes last year, all in the same game against Syracuse. One was intercepted. So this is really his first opportunity in a game. He's now completed 5 passes, 5 for 8 on a handoff, bumping it outside. Nice move. Hampton, big yardage, first down, 12 yards.
This is a kid that the Iowa coaching staff is very excited about, Jewel Hampton, and for obvious reasons with these first 2 carries. He's a guy that's got some explosive ability to him. True freshman here in the backfield. Ricky Stanzi's going to hand off the ball to him. And you see again, following the fullback and then bouncing the football outside. At some point, you're going to realize that he can't take advantage of that speed every time he gets the football, but it's been very successful for him on these first 2 carries.
This was a big problem for the Hawkeyes last year. They averaged only 3.5 yards a carry, near the bottom of the Big Ten rushing, and that put a lot of pressure on their passing attack. And consequently, they did not score much. Here's Stanzi back to throw. Open man, hits him. Completed. It's DeMarco Payne, wide receiver, another freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, to Hazelwood East there. And Iowa continues to move the ball here against Maine.
And now that the Hawkeyes are up by 36 points, as we talked about, we discussed it with Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, getting a few of his young guys on the field. But Kirk Ferentz highlighted some of these young redshirt freshmen and true freshmen that they wanted to try to get them some action during the game today, and this is the perfect time to kind of implement them into the scheme.
Javon Belcher, the pass rushing defensive end, was banged up a little in the first half. We haven't seen much of him in the third. Here's Stanzi, open man, and it's Alan Reisner, and Reisner stays in bounds inside the 21-yard line. Big gain. Derek Harris made the stop, and that was a gain of 24 yards as Iowa's moving it through the air.
Again, excellent play fake there from Ricky Stanzi. And Alan Reisner is one of the guys that ended up being forced into the lineup virtually last season because of some other injuries at the tight end position, with Tony Moeaki coming out of the lineup. Reisner played as a true freshman last year. Now with Moeaki out of the lineup here, he is one of their main cogs in the offense. You're seeing him getting a lot of action today.
Ben Evans is in. Where's number 84? He's on the the far side of the field. Stanzi hens inside to Hampton, and he's knocked down after a short gain.
I like to see that out of Jewel Hampton on this run. Didn't try to bounce it at all. They handed it off to him up the middle, and he just headed downhill right now. Got what the defense was giving to him on that play. Still turned out to be a nice 4-yard gain for Iowa.
Kevin Fainer made the stop for Maine. And it's 2nd and 6 at the 17-yard line for Iowa. It's been a good opener for the Hawkeyes under perfect sky. Beautiful conditions. Couldn't ask for a better start. Stanzi now on a handoff. Hampton cuts inside, stays on his feet. Gains a couple of yards before he is brought down. Brandon McLaughlin, the strong safety, in on the tackle. Now down to the sidelines, more from J.B. Long.
Well, guys, I had an interesting conversation with Jewel Hampton before the game. He was standing alone by himself on the sideline, cradling the football. I walked up and said, "Are you okay?" And he gave me this wide-eyed freshman look. I said, "Did you expect to be contributing or in a position to contribute this early?" And he said, "I didn't know if I would, but I'm really looking forward to it, guys."
Paul Cheney Jr. split out to the right. Thanks, J.B. J.B. Long on the sidelines for us on the Big Ten Network, as Iowa is deep in Maine territory again and leading 39-3. Here's Stanzi, throws up top, broken up. Good defensive play in the backfield that time by Lemire Whetstone.
Very nice deflection there from Whetstone. Kind of a dangerous pass there from Ricky Stanzi, sitting in the pocket. He's comfortable back there because the offensive line gave him great protection, kept the pocket clean, tried to hit his third tight end there, Peterson, over the middle, but Whetstone's able to get a hand on it late. Second goal now coming up for the Hawkeyes. We'll see what they do here. Goal to go. They've had Jewel Hampton getting a few carries here at this portion of the game. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they continue to try to pound the football as the game clock continues to run.
So they're in an I formation, and Hampton, Jewel Hampton, they got to call a timeout as Ricky Stanzi didn't like what he saw, and they stopped the clock with 8:15 remaining, and he has a few words there for the coaching staff. What happened? We'll return in a moment and find out. 8:15 remaining in the game. Iowa driving again deep in Maine territory. First time that Maine has ever met a Big Ten team in their 117-year history. They'll have Florida State on their schedule next year. And a hand to Hampton, puts his head down and gets inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line. Hampton, who has a touchdown already, young freshman from Indianapolis. Norman Smith, the cornerback, came up to make the play. He's a freshman from Maine, weighs only 176 pounds. Gain of 6.
And you see the strength of that Iowa offensive front beginning to move the Maine defensive front back. It's not going laterally anymore like it was early in the football game as Rod Smith was moving his defensive front around a lot. Now Iowa's establishing a physical dominance in this contest.
So from the I formation, it's 3rd and goal. Ricky Stanzi playing quarterback. The sophomore has been alternating with Jake Christensen today, and he hands off to Hampton, and he's going to be stopped well short. Leans forward to about the 3-yard line. Kevin Fainer, who's from Brooklyn, New York, playing for Maine. That's a long way from home, and he made the stop.
Now the Hawkeyes are going to go ahead and go for it on 4th down here, 4th and 3 from the 3-yard line. There's a possibility for a first down here still, I believe, by just the nose of the football. I think they could maybe still get a first down without scoring a touchdown here, but they're going to consider it 4th and goal.
Well, this is tricky. You lead 39-3. Should you kick it or run it? They're going to try to get the first down or get it into the end zone. Stanzi hands off Hampton, sweeps to his left, and he is not going to get there as Maine comes up big on the near sideline. And they got some help. Derek Harrison on it. And the Black Bears are able to stop Iowa short of the end zone.
And that's another one of those situations, as I touched on earlier, where Jewel Hampton, possibly used to in high school, being able to just hit the corner and outrun everyone to get the edge. Maine's defense is a little bit faster than what he was seeing as he was growing up in Indianapolis. Couldn't get the corner on that play. Now 4th down converts into a first down for Maine.
Maine in that Colonial Athletic Association conference we talked about with Delaware and Hofstra. Hofstra opened at Connecticut earlier this week, and Delaware opens at Maryland. There's Farkas, and his pass is incomplete.
And on that play, you saw number 45, Tyler Nielsen, who was formerly a linebacker. Now they've moved him and put his hand down and moved him to defensive end, trying to get a little bit more speed off the corner. Another young guy getting an opportunity to get in action here for this football game. And the Hawkeyes, kind of like we saw with 94 earlier when Claiborne was in the lineup, stayed active and got his hands up in the throwing line.
So Farkas in his own end zone, shotgun to take the snap. Hands to Llewellyn, who stopped at the 4-yard line. Stick around after the game. The Big Ten Football Saturday postgame crew will join you. It's your source for highlights and analysis from all of today's Big Ten action. As everybody's getting underway, Chad Geary made that last stop, 3rd and 7. deep in their own territory. This is where Maine spent most of the first half. As Marcus hands to Llewellyn, and that's a short gain, and that'll bring up 4th down.
And this would appear to be one of those situations where it's an unspoken agreement between the two coaches to run plays that are going to continue to run the clock and try to get out of this football game, because there's no way that Coach Cosgrove expected to get a first down running a draw play on 3rd and 7.
Well, this conference that has been formed that includes Maine also includes Villanova. They start at West Virginia later this afternoon. So William & Mary is playing at NC State. Colin Sandeman's back to receive the punt. He's standing in Maine territory at the 45-yard line. It's a high spiraling kick that takes him back into Iowa territory. Sandeman cuts to his right, now backed against the grain, and a good return by Sandeman. Gain of about 15 yards, and that's where Iowa will start. This game is brought to you in part by Nissan. Nissan is the official vehicle of the Big Ten Conference. Statue of Niall Kinnick outside Kinnick Stadium, the Heisman Trophy winner, late 30s, who died tragically while on a training flight as a Navy pilot. What a beautiful place, and on a gorgeous day. The Iowa fans have been treated to an excellent game by their Hawkeyes. 39-3 they lead. This is Stanzi. Fires into the flat and a completion. Ben Evans made the catch.
You see Ben Evans getting the football there, a sophomore wide receiver. Nice pass out there from Ricky Stanzi, getting it to the right flat. Ball out of his hands on time again. Very efficient performance here from Stanzi.
Gain of 12. Ben Evans, an Iowa City kid. So we're seeing a lot of these young players, and Kurt Ferentz played a number of them last year. 35 freshman lettered for Ferentz. We talked about that yesterday in the meeting as Stanzi fires, and it's in the hands. This time again, Ben Evans makes the play, and their offensive skill players, Anthony Herron, look to be improved. Obviously, Sean Green made a difference, and we've seen Jewel Hampton and the receivers, Andy Brodell being back, makes a difference as well.
And they certainly feel like they have talent at the skill positions. It's just that word consistency that the coaches continue to stress with these young players. A lot of guys got opportunities to touch the field last year. Some of the injuries, a few other issues that caused these players to have to get action. And now this season, they're hoping that they'll be able to take the next step.
Marco Payne is split out to the right. Stanzi hands to Hampton, and he's going nowhere. In to break up that play was Chad Geary. Today's Polaris Ranger hardest working player of the game is Sean Green. Went over 100 yards on 22 carries.
22 carries, 109 for Sean Green. Impressive performance in his first game back after the long layoff. And the fact that he's able to get 22 carries within the first 3 quarters of this football game, it shows you that he's worked himself back into football shape after that long layoff. It's not an easy thing to do, but between himself and Iowa strength and conditioning coach Chris Doyle, he has got himself ready to go this season.
3rd and 6 now, under 4 minutes to go. As Stanzi looks around, changes the play. I formation behind him. Jewel Hampton steps up, throws in the flat, and in and out of the hands. That time of Evans, he's gone to him a couple of times. A couple of catches by Ben Evans, 6 foot 180, the sophomore wide receiver.
And something I like that I saw right there is true freshman tailback Jewel Hampton. He picked up the blitz on that play. You don't know whether or not freshmen are going to be able to block when they get in contest for the first time. They had a defender from Maine coming free. Hampton was able to cut that defender down and give Ricky Stanzi an opportunity to still deliver the football, get it out of his hands, although the pass was incomplete.
So on 4th and 6, they won't try to kick a field goal. They'll run a play, and Ricky Stanzi. And a motion to Marco Payne. And here's Hampton. He breaks 2 tackles, and he's in the end zone. Jewel Hampton has scored twice in the second half.
How about this true freshman from Indianapolis? This guy has been electric today with the football in his hands.
A touchdown by Hampton. He scored on his very first carry on the college level, and he runs this one in from inside the 20-yard line on a 4th and 6.
As much as the Iowa coaching staff does like Paki O'Meara, he's a very serviceable backup. for Sean Green. You got to think that Jewel Hampton is going to continue to get more playing time as the season moves forward.
9 carries, 68 yards for Jewel Hampton, and Daniel Murray's extra point is up, and it is good. Iowa rolling 46-3 over Maine at Iowa City. Auspicious college debut for Jewel Hampton, getting some time here in the second half as Iowa routs Maine, and he's got 2 touchdowns. That last one 22 yards away. With 3.5 to go, Norman Smith is back to receive the kick, and Daniel Murray's been bombing him into the end zone on a regular basis. Today's Hampton Hotel's winning play of the game came early on. A.J. Eads on Adam Farkas.
The one returning starter for the Hawkeyes is A.J. Eads, and early in this contest, he had to make a play as Maine was backed up, put heat on the quarterback, got the safety in the end zone, and as you said, that turned the tide early in this football game. Iowa established control both defensively and offensively from that point on.
Eads, the holdover linebacker, the junior with a big safety. Cody Coleman, Jeremiah Hunter have played well today. Adam Farkas stays behind the center for Maine. Well, Iowa lost a couple guys who were in on a lot of tackles last year on their defense, so they had some things to do defensively.
That they did. We spoke to Norm Parker about it during the week as far as losing football players from last season and whether or not with the younger guys in the lineup now, if he felt like schematically he would have to change anything. And Norm Parker's a very colorful guy. He basically said, no, I do what I do, and I'm going to put defenders on the field that I feel can make plays. And of course, they've had plenty of guys making plays for him today.
Well, Mike Humpel last year averaged 10 tackles a game, so you got to replace a guy that's in on a lot of plays, and A.J. Eads has stepped it up here this afternoon. It is Maine, of course. And Maine will go back and they'll play teams like UMass and Rhode Island, and teams that Kirk Ferentz, when he was a linebacker back at UConn in the 70s, was playing in the Yankee Conference.
Yep, back in the Yankee Conference, and then turned into the Atlantic 10 at one point, I believe, and now it's the CAA. But as we talked to Coach Cosgrove during the week about the things that he could get out of this game, win or lose, he really felt like games like this will set Maine up throughout the rest of the season. Having this type of competition in the opening game, now once they get back to the CAA, they will be well tested and battle tested to be able to continue to move forward. There.
So run up the middle by Derek Session, who's getting a chance. Where's number 14 for Maine? The final 2 minutes ticking off. That Hampton Hotel's winning play of the game, brought to you by Hampton Hotels. Touchdown at Hampton. Wake up a winner. Want to thank them. A gain of 11. Mike Crispino and Anthony Herron.
And I've been in this situation playing as a true freshman in the opening game of the season. The starter have established control for you. And now here late in the contest, the crowd has dwindled away a little bit. But you've still got to come out here and make an impression, because the coaches have to decide whether or not these younger players are going to be in a position to help them when those big moments come up throughout the rest of the season.
Parkers drops back, throws down the field, has a receiver, and off the fingertips of Terrell Jones, the sophomore. On the coverage, Lance Tillison. Tonight on the Big Ten Network, Adam Weber and the Gophers look to start the season off right. They battle a tough Northern Illinois Huskies team. Tonight at 7 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. And to talk about taking his lumps, Adam Weber, and we'll be there in a few weeks. Adam Weber was a good quarterback in Minnesota last year on a team that did not fare well. See how he can come back this year and hopefully lead them to some wins for the Golden Gopher fans. Derek Session on the carry. Final minute and a half. And we'll be back next week. Florida International in here to take on Iowa.
It's been a good start so far today for the Hawkeyes. Jake Christensen came out with the start, and you could tell, as we spoke to Jake yesterday, he really wanted to come out and prove a point early in this contest. He wanted to get that consistency. He wanted to be efficient. And other than the one interception he had in the first half, I've been impressed with what Jake and Ricky Stanzi both look like throughout this contest.
Terrell Jones makes a tough catch, and he is rocked as he gets knocked down by David Cato, the defensive back. And the final minute of play ticking off. 27 first downs today. Good balance on offense by Iowa. 245 yards rushing, 212 passing. And they've held Maine to just 83 yards passing. That was a gain of 9.
Well, the success of Iowa football has always been built at the line of scrimmage. Their defensive line was able to come out and control the line of scrimmage on their side. And, of course, between Sean Green and that offensive front from the Hawkeyes, they just established that running game early and often and continued to wear down Maine throughout the contest.
Yeah, Farkas throws that one out of bounds, and much of the crowd here at Kinnick Stadium has started to head for the exits, have to be happy with what they've seen from the Hawkeyes. This is a team that in the last 3 years has gone 19-18. They've lost more Big Ten games than they've won. So Kirk Ferentz, who was talking to us yesterday, sometimes, you know, the difference between winning and losing is a very small margin. They lost a lot of games, close games in the last 3 years that if they had gone the other way, who knows? They did not go to a bowl game last year, losing right here to Western Michigan on the final day of the season. So that bitter memory will be wiped out by this win today. And in home openers, it'll be their 8th straight win for Iowa. And they've outscored their last 7 opponents by an average of 43-6, and that will change. They'll lead 46-3 here, and that's going to end it. So Jack Cosgrove, the former offensive coordinator for Kirk Ferentz, will walk across the field as Iowa opens up the season with a win, 46-3. They welcome back Sean Green, their running back. Green has a big day, running for over 100 yards.
And I'm going to say that this was precisely what Kirk Ferentz would hope for out of this football game. There were enough mistakes where you could go back and grade the film, but there were certainly enough positive things out of this 46-3 win that Iowa's coming off the field with to say that they had a good showing, but we need to be able to get better moving into the second week.
Well, offensively, a lot of positives besides Sean Green. Jake Christensen threw the ball well. So did Ricky Stanzi. Andy Brodell was back, and the wide receiver made a difference in terms of punt returns and catching the ball as well. Daryl Johnson-Culianos, Packy O'Mara, and Jewel Hampton, the freshman from Indianapolis, made an impression.
The exciting freshman from Indianapolis. I really feel like this is going to be a guy that may move into that backup running back role and possibly a thunder and lightning type of situation between him and Sean Green, the big bruiser coming in early in the game, and then you put Jewel Hampton in the contest to finish things off.
Well, Iowa will go over and out to the locker room, satisfied with their win today, 46-3. And they'll play for their first 5 games of the season here at Kinnick Stadium, so a chance for the Hawkeyes to get off to a good start.
And they've really been a great team at home in
I've got Sean
years.
Green, no Ferentz.
They've been a great team at home in recent years, so this is the type of situation where with 4 of their first 5 games at home, they want to establish some control early in the season, come out with a great record early in the year, and now before they move into the road.
Last year they averaged 120+ yards on the ground. Today 245 yards on the ground for Iowa. And so Sean Green had a lot to do with that. He ran for 109. That's going to be something that other teams will have to game plan against. Let's go down to J.B. Long, who's standing by with Kirk Ferentz.
Well, Coach, for all the questions about your running game, you were able to get 3 different backs into the end zone. How did that feel?
Well, that was good. Something we've had a little trouble with lately. So it was good to see that part of the game. Sean ran hard, and I thought Pocky did a nice job. And, you know, Jules got some potential. We'll see how that goes.
I know your hope is that one of the quarterbacks will eventually settle in. Did you see anything from either of them today that maybe showed they were ready to assert themselves?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I thought it was fairly even out there. So we'll just keep playing like we are right now, see what this week brings. And I thought both of them did a good job for the most part. Some things to correct.
Coach Ferentz, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mike?
Thanks to J.B. Long as Iowa took the lead at halftime. They were rolling, and they're 41-6 in the last 6 years with the lead at halftime. The Maine Black Bears had very few answers as the Hawkeyes, Ricky Stanzi, Jake Christensen, the 2-headed quarterbacks, led them to 46 points. Now we send it to Chicago.